Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the It's Obvious podcast. My name's Garrett Drake, joined alongside Jacob Alka. This is episode 79. Jacob, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm just fine. It has been and always will be a true honor and privilege to sit alongside you at this sacred table, Jacob. Thank you for being here this evening.
Thank you for welcoming me into your home.
Oh, certainly. It's my parents' home. I'm glad they welcome us both in here to shoot our little video game podcast for the last nearly 2 years now. We're like, all right, Mom and Dad, we're going to go do our videos now. They're like, okay, kids, have fun. And that's what we've been doing for nearly 2 years. And it's always been exciting. It's been a thrill ride, and I'm glad that everyone tuning in this evening, whether you're on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, wherever you may be in the world, whatever outlet you're using to tune in with us, thank you so much for being here. We're excited because the winter season is officially upon us. Christmas time is here. We're going to be singing joyful songs about Santa Claus and elves.
Tune in next week for our Christmas Carol podcast.
Yes, it's just going to be wonderful.
Caroling.
We'll just be caroling the entire time for 2 hours straight. Maybe we'll hit 3 hours again, and everyone can just join in and sing wherever you're at in the office.
It's important that we not break eye contact from the camera either. Just stare into the lens.
And we won't even be smiling. We'll just wide-eyed singing the whole time.
Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas.
Exactly. And Jacob and I can harmonize really well. So I definitely tune in for that episode. But we have our twisted peppermint candle this evening. So we have the scent of peppermint in the air, but according to my sister, it smells like a burnt tire or something because she walked into my room when I was playing Overwatch or something the other night with you, and she's like, what does that smell? I was like, you mean my twisted peppermint candle? She goes, no, it smells like a burnt tire in here, like someone did a donut in the parking lot or something. I was like, if you say so. Does the room smell like a rubber to you?
I don't know. It doesn't smell like peppermint.
Because I feel like if you put that thought in your head and then smell it, you're like, man, maybe
it doesn't smell like a burnt rubber, no, but it doesn't.
Okay.
That doesn't smell like peppermint to me, though.
All right, I'm just
checking. It
checking.
smells good, though.
Because I want you to enjoy the scent. It kind of calms us while we talk about video games and life on this podcast. The candle's always been a staple of this podcast, at least in the winter season. We're excited to have it back. You're bundled up. You're ready to build a snowman, Jacob.
Well, you see, I'm not bundled up like this for no reason. I'm not cold. I'm just playing a lot of Final Fantasy 15. I'm embracing the black.
Right. No, I feel ya. You and me both, my friend. I'm in about all black myself this evening, as usual, and I really admire Noctis's look. I do
too. It's really growing on me.
I think he just looks like a total
awesome.
badass. Yeah, they do. I love his haircut, man. I wish I could rock that, like I mentioned on our Let's Play we did this past week. But speaking of Final Fantasy, how you feeling about that video game?
Oh, it's fantastic so far.
Is it? Now tell me why you think it's fantastic.
I'm about 16 hours in. I'm about 15 hours and 40 minutes. Let's be precise in my time played. I've had some really cool large set piece moments. I don't want to spoil anything for you.
Now, before you continue, how deep are you into this game?
I'm about to go into the third playable area, I believe.
Okay, so you're past the tip.
The tip.
You're about halfway in, you'd say?
I don't know. I have no idea how long the game is.
Okay,
so.
I'm just checking.
But, yeah, without spoiling anything, it's a fantastic game so far. The combat has really grown on me. I've gotten several of those, king weapons that, take your health away as you use them. And there's one in particular that I really like. It's like two swords that are you can take them apart and then sometimes they'll go back together as like a pole arm or something.
I like that.
But it's really cool. And just some of the fights in the game are so epic and, it's just fun, and I haven't really had any trouble with the game being hard. It's a pretty easy game for the most part.
Okay, do you find the story pretty easy to follow so far?
It's a pretty easy to follow story. It's a good story so far. Still on the track to find my betrothed.
Yes, certainly.
Haven't
You're a
found
lovely lady.
Yes, she is lovely, though.
She's a lovely lady.
But yeah, the story's great. I've heard that other Final Fantasies aren't this simple as far as storytelling goes. So I feel like
it's a good blend for new fans and old.
Exactly, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
but how do you feel about it so far? I know you've had some trouble playing it this week.
I have. I have been absurdly busy this week with work. It was a good week of work. Accomplished a lot. It just kept me busy, so I hardly had any time for games, let alone Final Fantasy. But the little bit that I have played it, I have. Like I said, when I first started, I even mentioned it in our Let's Play. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. I don't love it yet, but something clicked in me the other night when I played for about half an hour, and I defeated the Deadeye Behemoth to unlock the Chocobos.
I beat him last night, I believe.
Okay. So I defeated him, and then I unlocked the Chocobos and went for a little ride, and then I camped with my friends again, and then I got in a couple random fights with those wolf things, whatever they're called, the Verteeth or something? Vertooth?
I don't know.
Something tooth.
I know what you're talking about.
The scary wolves, the fantasy-looking wolves. But I got in a pack of them, and I fought them, and something clicked in me. I'm like, man, I just really am enjoying this. Something about it. I mean, like you said, the combat, and I really love the fact that they're all just best friends on a road trip, but they just happen to... all this crazy stuff goes on. Like, man, we got to be heroes as well, but they're all just pals and like camping and just hanging out and stuff. I just, something about it, it's weird because I mean, I've played a lot of games like it, but at the same time, I haven't played anything like it before.
I think it's the only open world RPG I've played this year.
Really?
I think. What else has come out besides Watch Dogs?
I know there's something.
So I'm pretty sure it's the only one
because
I've played.
I struggled with something earlier this year. There's been so many games that have come out.
That's the thing. I don't think there's been any RPGs. We're being, I don't know, maybe it's escaping our minds, but let us know down below if we're forgetting any.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about all the games that came out this year, obviously, for our Game of the Year discussion in a couple weeks. But
do you think this game will be in consideration for you? So far, I know it's still early. But
yeah,
are you still like, do you think it's going to be as good as you want it to be?
I'm not going to say yes yet, only because, like I said, I've barely played it. But everyone should know that I'm thoroughly enjoying it, and
it's
I wasn't
good
expecting
reviews
to.
Too.
It is, yeah. That's what I'm most happy about, and it's going to segue nicely into what I'm going to talk about in a minute. But I'm very happy about the fact that I was not expecting much of the game, and I didn't expect much in the sense that I'm like, oh, Final Fantasy has always sucked, blah, blah, blah. I've always known that Final Fantasy, for the most part, has been great and has a huge fan base, and it's a beloved franchise, but it's never had a place in my heart. So going into it, and all the demos I saw, I always knew the game looked pretty, and like the scale of it seemed amazing, but something about it never really resonated with me when I saw the trailers.
I just wasn't
a
fan of RPGs growing up, so that's why I never played them, and I didn't have PlayStations. So
So I went into this one I didn't go into it with a closed mind. I just went into it with like little to no expectation, just for my own selfish, ignorant reasons, I guess. But I'm glad because I've been proven wrong, and I've found a lot of enjoyment with it, and that's why I'm very excited to go back to it. Hopefully sometime this week it's just going to be another busy work week for me, but thankfully, this is hilarious. I'm like thankful for this, but it sucks at the same time. My surgery is a week from tomorrow. Now, this podcast comes out on a Monday, so if you're listening on Monday, 7 days from now, I'll be having sinus surgery. I'm having a deviated septum in my nose corrected, and it obstructs. I feel like I can breathe fine, but the doctor says I don't know what breathing is until I get it fixed, apparently. So
can you breathe out of your nose?
I can. Like easily, but he claims that like you may think you can breathe well, but I promise you after you have the surgery you'll feel better. Plus I've been living with a chronic sinus infection for about 3.5 years now, and imagine you know when you get sick you'll have like mucus run down the back of your throat. Imagine that 24/7 without stopping. That's been my life for 3.5 years. How do you deal with that? It's agony. It's been terrible. I've just dealt with it for so long. I've been pushing off the surgery forever because I just haven't had time for it. But I'm finally sucking it up. I have to be a man. I have to go in there and get my face carved up, and I have to recover a few days. And of course, we're seeing Star Wars 3 days later. I'm going to be all effed up on pain pills probably. But
wear a mask.
I'm not missing Star Wars. I don't care what I look like or what I feel like. I'm going to be in that theater with you and Casey.
Remind me tonight to pay you back for the ticket.
Oh, certainly. No rush on that. But like I said, I'm thankful because that week I'll have an entire week off of work due to the recovery it's going to take for me after the surgery. So, I mean, the first day or two I might feel like total crap and not want to do anything. But the rest of the week I plan to just go hard in Final Fantasy. I'm going to give myself to that game. I'm going to let it have its way with me. I'm just going to go spread eagle.
That game's going to make you its bitch.
It is. I'm hoping it will. I'm hoping I just sit down and don't stop playing for like 5 days straight. That's what I'm hoping for. In addition to seeing Star Wars like 5 or 6 times in between all of that. Yeah, I'll go see Star Wars, play Final Fantasy for a couple hours, and I'll go see Star Wars again.
Gotcha.
But it's going to be a great, but literally physically painful, but exciting week for entertainment for me next week. So I'm excited about it.
Anything you dislike about the game so far?
I haven't played it enough to warrant any dislikes, I don't think. I think if I play it for a few more hours, there might be something where I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. But so far, so good. And I was mistaken. Remember I mentioned to you, I'm like, oh, the pro features suck. They don't do anything. Well, I was mistaken. The pro update has not come out yet. So right now, it's still the same thing. Because I like dumbed down the game to a point because I thought like if I put the the resolution on light, and then it did up the frame rate, but the resolution was just atrocious. It looked terrible. I'm like, what kind of joke is this? This is what I bought the Pro for, but I was wrong. The Pro update is not out yet. I imagine it's coming soon. I've heard it's coming this month. So that's exciting. Okay. But like I said, really enjoying Final Fantasy 15. Can't wait to play more.
Yeah. My only gripe so far is some of the fast traveling's janky. There'll be a place that is closer, but I can fast travel to it, but something that's farther away that I have to drive to. I'm not really sure how that whole system works.
I'm still trying to figure that out. I think it's places that you've officially... Have you been to both the places?
I've been to both places. And it's still weird. I don't know why, but...
yeah, maybe...
I don't know.
Have you tried like placing a marker on the destination you want to go to and then asking Ignis or yourself to drive to it?
Not putting a marker on it, but I just select it from the quest. Maybe.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't had, like I said, I haven't had too much trouble with it.
It's just a small gripe.
I know what you mean, though, because I've messed with it before. I'm like, I want to go here. It's like, well, you can go back to the campsite you were at across the world if you want, but you can't go there.
And also another problem with the car is that they just sit silently in the car most of the time. Like, they don't say anything, so I'm just forced to look at my phone or something. Because once you look at the environment so long, you're bored. You're like, I guess I'm going to check my Twitter or something.
Yeah.
Like, this is taking too long.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, and sometimes I wish, I don't know. The car's just weird to me, but I get it. Like, it's a road trip kind of feel. So.
And it gets you from point A to point B. Or you can ride them chocobos around.
I do. The chocobos are fun.
Them giant chickens.
I colored mine red.
You colored it red?
Yeah, you can color it.
How do you do that?
You have to get to a certain point in the quest, I think.
That's cool.
But
can you make them any color you want?
There's like 8 options.
Okay.
All my different party members have different colored chocobos.
What about black?
No, there's no black.
Oh, that's a shame.
There's white, yellow, 2 shades of light green. There's blue, red, and orange.
That's cool. I like options on my chocobo.
Indeed.
That's great, Jacob.
I have a community question about this game. Do you want to save it for later? Or?
No. Let's throw it in if we're talking about it. Bring it up.
This is one that was personally sent to me on PSN.
Okay, that's exciting.
Got it in a little folded up paper here.
Yeah, everyone keep that in mind. You can send us messages on PSN for questions as well if you'd like.
This is from StayTrue_87.
I know that gentleman. I've talked to him many times. We played Destiny with him.
Yes, we have. You're right.
Thank you for tuning in, my friend.
It's been a while, though.
It has, yeah.
But yeah, he was just expressing how much he loves this game. We were messaging back and forth.
Cool.
Yeah, here's his question. Coffee stuck in my throat.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jacob.
All right. Now that it's here, what are some of your favorite new additions to the game that have never been seen in a Final Fantasy? Obviously, neither of us have played before, so that question's kind of hard for us to answer. But
right. I don't think there's been an open world in Final Fantasy prior to this one, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, there's an MMO.
Yeah, with the exception of that one. Yeah. So I think that's a new addition.
Yeah. I think the car thing's a new addition.
The car's new. You can make that a flying car. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I saw it, but I don't know. I'm not there yet.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's kind of cool. I wonder when it's going to come into play.
I think you can look it up on how to do it as quickly as you want. I think there's a video titled "The Quickest Way to Get the Flying Car."
It's probably through Cindy. I think you do all your car upgrades through her.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but there's a second part. I'd have to say mine is the car, just the concept of the road trip and the camping. Just what I wanted to. Excuse me.
That's what he said, right?
Yeah, this is what he's saying. It's just what I wanted out of the title.
Cool.
So he really enjoys the car. Me, not so much. I mean, it's a cool idea, but I feel like it could have been done better. I wish I could control the car, personally.
You can.
Not to a certain degree.
That's true.
It pulls you towards the road, and you can't.
It's definitely on rails. It would be funny. I've always tried to imagine what they would look like going up and down slopes and hills and like tumbling over in the car and stuff, like GTA style, but... I get it. It's fine. Yeah. It's a nice looking car, at least. I'd like to fly it. I imagine there's invisible rails in the sky when you fly to point A to point B, but it's pretty exciting. Yeah, stay true, my friend. Thank you for your question.
Thank you for the question.
Absolutely. So what else did you play this week in addition to Final Fantasy?
Played some Overwatch.
Overwatch, as did I.
For the most part, I've only played Overwatch to do my 9 arcade wins to get my loot boxes. I'm going to try to do that every week because it's 3 free loot boxes every week, so...
Now, walk me through how this works real quick, because I'm still confused by it. Now, let's say I get on Overwatch. I'm going to play some arcade. I click on arcade. Where do I go from there to get my loot boxes?
You see that bar on the top right that has wins 1 through 9?
Yes.
Oh, excuse me. Every 3 wins, you get a loot box. So if you just win 9 games in any arcade playlist, you get 3 loot boxes.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Dude, we need to do that every night of the week.
I've been doing it every week. It's a weekly,
That's just another
It's like a
amazing
weekly
reason to
cooldown.
play.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's why I've been wanting to do arcade lately.
Oh, dude, I'm totally in. If I knew we would get loot boxes, I didn't fully understand how it worked, but now that I know, I'm thrilled for that. That's so exciting.
That's awesome.
So that's only once a week you can do
Yeah, it
that.
resets Monday, I think, every Monday.
So you have the whole week to get your 9 wins.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yep.
Blizzard is just...
It's like a weekly quest.
They're a real treat, and I really appreciate all the people at Blizzard for doing that.
Today I was finishing that up, and I got a legendary Diva skin.
Which one?
It's the June bug.
I like June bug. I almost
I'm not a
bought
big fan
that.
of it. I have like the holiday, the summer games themed Korean one, and I like that more.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I put on her.
That's cool.
But yeah, I got a legendary out of one of those loot boxes.
Nice.
So it's really cool stuff.
That is great, Jacob.
And I didn't play much competitive this week. I know it came out, season 3 started this week, but I've been so deep into Final Fantasy that, I kind of want to knock that out first before I jump into Overwatch competitive mode.
Totally. Yeah.
And yeah. Then Last Guardian's coming out. So I'm gonna be busy, man.
Yeah, it comes out Tuesday, doesn't it?
I'm probably not gonna get it Tuesday. I want to see some reviews first.
Me too.
I'm gonna be, I'm
gonna predict it's gonna get
say.
between. I could be wrong. It's gonna get between a 6 and a 7.
I think it's gonna get a 8
Okay.
out of 10.
Yeah, whoever's wrong has to chop their hands off.
Oh my god.
So it's not that. The stakes aren't too high, but we'll see what happens.
We'll see what my people think.
Yeah, tune in next week for Christmas carols and someone's losing their hands due to The Last Guardian. But yeah, I played Overwatch as well. I've played 3 out of my, 10 placement matches?
Yeah.
Okay.
We both played 3.
Okay, I've lost 2 out of the 3.
Yeah.
So
Same.
it sucks. But I know we've talked about teaming up with several others around the globe for an Overwatch team. And the handful of you we've had the honor of playing with, we've really done well, which is awesome. And this just goes to say, I'm not a good Overwatch player. I understand the game. I understand a lot of the characters' strengths and weaknesses and how they counter other characters for the most part. But I'm not calling myself an expert. But just the simplicity, the simple act of communication on any team is always effective, no matter regardless. I mean, I can't say regardless of skill level, but to an extent, communication is like your biggest ally. And I've noticed when we team up in parties, we take teams down, man. We've gone on winning streaks for like 7 or 8 in a row a couple nights. Yeah. So I'm excited to team up with you guys again for competitive matches. I'd love to have a decent rank in Season 3. Jacob and I skipped over Season 2 entirely because we were butthurt about it.
I played my placement matches, but that's about it.
Okay, see, I never did that. Not that I didn't want to. There's just so many games coming out in October. It prevented me from doing so. But we're excited about it. So played Overwatch. Those are the only games I played. I saw Fantastic Beasts finally with Casey.
Oh, did you like it?
Dude, I thought it was fantastic.
Yes.
I was like, man.
It's good.
I think I want to watch it again because I watched it and I realized how good it was. I was like, man, another thing this is what I was going to say, in addition to Final Fantasy, me not expecting much from it, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was awesome original story. It wasn't hitting you over the head with Harry Potter references the whole time. Awesome characters, all very diverse, different personalities, which is cool. And I loved the setting in New York. And what time was it? The 20s, the 30s, 40s, maybe?
I think it's the 20s.
Okay, sometime around there. But I love
it's before the World Wars, I believe. So
okay,
it's the 20s.
Okay, so I really dug the setting and just the look of everyone. Like it was cool to see guys that looked like they were gangsters with wands and stuff. It just looked really cool and interesting. Yeah. But I enjoyed the story as well. We won't talk spoilers or anything, but I can see now how they could potentially make, I think, 4 more movies after this one, which is pretty ambitious.
Dude,
but
the end was so epic.
It was. I liked it a lot.
Like, as far as Harry, like that franchise goes, that's probably the coolest magical spectacle in the series. Yeah, overall,
I enjoyed it a lot, and I really like Eddie Redmayne's Newt Scamander. I think it's really cool. I love how he gets the title of his book at the end, and it's so cool to think that whatever we're going to see from this movie until the end of this series, to think that all of this happened before Harry Potter was a student at Hogwarts, and they just happened to mention his book in that series. That's just so cool to think about. Yeah. I'd love for them to, I mean, I know I'm jumping ahead here, but I'd love to see after this series them tackle just another random character in this magical world. I just think that's real. I know Newt Scamander technically already existed in the Harry Potter universe, but just take a brand new character perhaps and do a spin-off of them, because I mean everyone loves this world if you just continue to do awesome stuff like that. But like I said, I'm thankful that I was I went in with zero expectations, and I loved it. It was awesome, so I'm excited about the future sequels.
Sure.
But yeah, other than that, the only other movie I watched this week, which I haven't finished it, I've seen about 3/4 of it with Casey. We started watching Creed on Netflix, I think, and that movie is spectacular.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I'd heard from countless people that it was very good, and Michael B. Jordan is one of my favorite actors around today. I think he kills it in everything he's in. And Creed is the ultimate example of what I love franchises to do when they continue. For example, Halo, in my opinion and in my mind, it ended at Halo 3. Master Chief floats off into space. That's Halo to me. And then
That's not Halo to me.
4 and 5 have their ups and downs, and I enjoy those games, and especially Halo 5's multiplayer is, I think, the best the multiplayer's been since Halo 3. But canon-wise, like the story, I think is just the goofiest thing in the world to me. Like spoiler alert.
It's not what I wanted to happen.
No, I just think it's so stupid that Cortana is like the enemy now. And
Spoilers.
I said spoiler alert. I apologize if I'm spoiling this for anyone. I imagine most people played Halo 5 by now, those that care. But Cortana's the enemy and you're fighting I just think that's the goofiest thing in the world. It's fine. 343, I think they've done a great job developing the games, but story-wise, I think it's dumb. What I would have rather seen, what I hope they do after Halo 5, because Microsoft is always going to make Halo until people stop buying it. But I would have rather seen, if they were going to continue with Master Chief, I would have rather seen Master Chief become like a supporting character, and you play as an entirely new Spartan or new soldier entirely, and he's the main hero. And Master Chief is in the story, he just isn't playing the main role anymore. And almost he could replace the role Cortana plays in Halo 1 through 3, because she's like the voice in your head. She's your companion the whole game. But what if they flip-flop that and Master Chief is sort of your commander and he's the voice in your head?
Yeah, what if he was just the commander that was like aboard the ship and he like sent you out on missions?
Exactly, and he always communicated with you through your helmet like Cortana did, but it's Master Chief, so you still get all of Master Chief's character, but it's just he's talking to you the whole time.
Yeah, what if like they just started a new trilogy with Locke? Spartan Locke, that's his name, right?
Yeah. See, I was hoping that's what they would do, something like that, starting with Halo 4, because I think Master Chief's story was just perfect from Halo 1 through 3, and they should have just ended it there. But if they were going to keep him around, I think it'd almost be cool if he didn't wear his armor anymore. He was in like a military outfit, but you still never saw his face. Like in all the cutscenes, is always like over his shoulder or something. I just think that'd be kind of cool. But I mentioned that because Creed continues the Rocky franchise, but with a new character, but it's still linked to the Rocky universe, which I think is awesome.
Isn't he in it?
Rocky's in it. Yeah, he plays his trainer in the film, which is cool.
I thought so.
And Creed, Michael B. Jordan's character, is the son of Apollo Creed, who was not only Rocky's friend, but was in the original movie, and then, spoiler alert, died. I think it was in the second or third one. So it's really awesome. I'm really enjoying the movie, and I see what all the hype was about. But that was my week, Jacob, as far as entertainment's concerned. We talked about Overwatch, Final Fantasy, a couple good movies. But that being said, what a week it has been in games media and the games industry as a whole. It's just been so thrilling. Yeah,
some weeks we get absolutely nothing, then this week we get too much.
Exactly. Like last week we had to pull something out of our ass. We're like, oh, we haven't talked about game music before. We literally decided that minutes before the camera started rolling. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I mean, it ended up being a fun topic. I enjoyed talking about music, but thankfully the Game Awards and PSX both happened back to back this week, and it was just super exciting. We got a bunch of game announcements. Awards were handed out, which is exciting, and there's a ton to talk about, Jacob. So if you're with me, I feel like we can just jump right in. But that being said, this is the It's Obvious podcast, where my best friends gather every single week to talk about video games, movies, sometimes TV, all kinds of random stuff. We don't have the best slogan yet for this podcast, but almost 2 years in, and we're loving every moment of it. So thank you for joining us. If you enjoy this podcast, you can join us on youtube.com/ItsObviousGaming. It is our home base where we do Let's Plays, unboxings, reviews. We're going to be doing a movie review for Rogue One, and most likely Assassin's Creed. That is a video game movie. And exciting stuff on the horizon. And if you are on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, like I said, you can join us on YouTube. We appreciate all of you there nonetheless, and feel free to join our PSN community and Xbox Club, where we can play games every single week, and all that info can be found in all the links and the descriptions in all of our videos on YouTube. So refer to it there for all that information. But Jacob, let's jump right into the Game Awards first.
Hey man, what's that news?
Dude, so I figure we'll talk about all of the winners of all the categories, and we'll compare the answers that we predicted. We'll talk about our predictions and what actually won, and we'll tally them up and see how many we got right and how many we got wrong. And I've already looked at it. We didn't do so hot, Jacob.
Oh, we didn't.
Now, we went positive. We didn't go negative,
That's
but
good.
we didn't do as well as I thought we would. I will say this was a surprising Game Awards to me. A lot of stuff won that I think was very deserving, just stuff won that I wasn't expecting to win.
Okay.
Not to say they were bad. I was just like, oh, I'm surprised that, I guess people vote on these winners.
Yeah, there's like, they select like a committee, apparently, people that know about video games.
I feel like the only people that have the right to vote on these kind of awards are the developers themselves.
Well, who's to say they won't just vote for themselves?
That's true, but I mean, I'm sure they'd have a system where they can only vote for other categories. But I feel like developers are the only ones worthy of voting for these kind of awards. Like, what's a games journalist have the right to be like, that game's better than this one? I know everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I feel like the game developers deserve to vote. I don't know how
the games
works.
are made for the people that play them, so you can make the argument against that.
That's true. That's a very good point.
Who's to say who should be voting?
Right. Regardless, I don't care who voted, I was satisfied with all the winners. But we'll talk about them. We're just going to start off with the big one, Jacob. Game of the Year. Originally, the nominations were Doom, Inside, Overwatch, Titanfall 2, Uncharted 4. We predicted Uncharted 4. Game of the Year happened to be Overwatch.
I had a feeling it was going to be Overwatch.
You did?
I guess Uncharted 4 maybe being just on PS4, maybe you would have heard it. I don't know. Maybe not. It didn't win, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not like surprised.
No, I'm not either.
So
I'll say I'm sort of surprised and I'm sort of not surprised. I'm surprised because Uncharted 4 is such a remarkable achievement on all fronts, from gameplay to storytelling to character development. Just the animations of all the... I mean, literally every aspect of that game is incredible. And Overwatch is a spectacular game too. That's probably my favorite game of the year is Overwatch. And
over Uncharted 4?
Yes. And now Uncharted 4, I think, from a technical perspective, is a better game, but Overwatch is the most fun I've had all year playing a video game. I absolutely adore Overwatch. So I'm glad that I won. I'm happy for Blizzard, but I do have a gripe about their win. Okay. The people who made the choices for music in this event, as far as whenever a winner was announced, they would play the game's theme song. Now, Overwatch is known for many themes, and all of them are wonderful, but they always played the main theme from Overwatch, which is very heroic sounding. But when you win Game of the Year award, you have to play the victory theme, which is what plays during play of the game. If you win Game of the Year, you got to play that theme. And I was like, that would have been so freaking epic. And imagine if they had a montage to like play of the game and it's like Overwatch winning or something. It'd be hilarious.
I was looking at Reddit. This has nothing to do with what you were saying, but
okay.
You know, like Jeff Kaplan, he's like the Overwatch guy. He does all like the the updates on YouTube and like talks to the community and stuff. But Reddit was like freaking out because he like said something about Harambe during their winning speech. Yeah. And everyone's like, Jeff Kaplan has memes now. Yeah. And everyone's going crazy on Reddit. It's funny.
I did notice that. He was like, keep him out for Harambe. Yeah. That is classic.
Harambe is just something else, dude.
He took the world by storm.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Like, whenever someone just talks about Winston as Harambe. Yeah. I don't know why it's funny. It's just it just is.
That is the dumbest thing to think about this year. So one of the most popular memes is about a gorilla that died and it was a tragedy, but everyone made it like the funniest joke ever, and it's just hilarious. But yeah, that's awesome. We're glad Overwatch won. That's cool. But we got that wrong. We predicted Uncharted 4. Next category, Best Game Direction. The nominees were Blizzard, DICE, id Software, Naughty Dog, and Respawn. We predicted Naughty Dog for Uncharted 4, but guess who won again? Overwatch. Blizzard.
I could see that too.
Mm-hmm. I mean, when you really break it down and think about it,
it kind of makes more sense.
Yeah, think about it. All the thought and work that went into not only designing all these different characters, and just from a personality standpoint alone, let's make them all diverse with different personalities and different character traits, but on top of that, all the technical abilities they have. Like, how does this player feel? How fast are they? What are their weapons like? What are their special abilities like? And then figuring out how they're all going to work together and all counter each other. I mean, that's a huge undertaking. I mean, how many characters are in the game now?
There's 22, I think.
Okay, because that is...
I think.
I mean, I know there's been a lot of characters in games like this in the past, but that's amazing. And when they won, I had to really think about it. I was like, well, that does make a lot of sense when you think about everything that went. It takes a phenomenal director to pull that off. So.
Just to argue for argument's sake, Blizzard is known for taking good ideas and copying them, and there have been other games that have done this, like Team Fortress 2.
And they always seem to come out on top with the popularity.
They just, they perfect it.
Right, yeah.
They just have that way of, they have the resources and the creative mindset to make things as good as they can be.
Right, and I've heard the saying that almost everything in art is inspired by another piece of art. And when someone does something better than someone else, it isn't to say that the thing that came before it sucks. It's just cool to see how someone can be inspired by someone else, whether it be music or film or video games, and see them take that idea and expand upon it and be successful. So congratulations to Blizzard killing it at the Game Awards.
I think that's 2 of the 3 they won, I believe.
Yes. Next one on the list is Best Narrative. The nominations were Firewatch, Inside, Mafia 3, Oxenfree, and Uncharted 4. We predicted Uncharted 4, and Uncharted 4 won. That's pretty cool.
That's a no-brainer in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. The next one was Best Art Direction. It was Abzu, Firewatch, Inside, Overwatch, and Uncharted 4. We predicted Abzu because we really didn't know what to think, and Inside won. And we almost went with Inside, but we just hadn't played it, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah, we thought maybe people would pick Abzu because of
the colorful colors and the
because
fish.
It hadn't won anything.
Yeah. So we got that wrong as well, but Inside won. Best Music and Sound Design. Now, I still wish they had separated these, but the nominations were Battlefield 1, Doom, Inside, Res Infinite, and Thumper. And we predicted Battlefield 1, but Doom won, which I think is totally warranted because that soundtrack, like I said, is my favorite video game soundtrack of all time. But sound design-wise, I haven't played Doom in a while, but I just think sound design-wise, Battlefield, what even in my own mind, has to take it because I know this is the most overused word in the entire industry, but when I say immersed, I feel immersed when I play Battlefield. If I close my eyes and just listen to the Battlefield while I'm playing multiplayer, it's fascinating. Like dudes screaming, like sounds like a mile away, and gunshots behind you and around you, and then a train in the distance, a plane flying over
you
it.
You can hear like little clinks of grenades that get thrown. All the little tiny stuff.
And I know this is a lot of games do this now. It isn't as big a deal as it used to be, but when you're shooting outside, it sounds like you're outside, but when you go inside, it's very reverby and it sounds like you're indoors and stuff. So little details like that go a long way for me.
I'm surprised that they didn't win any awards for Battlefield 1.
I was really surprised by that.
It's probably just the same reason like Call of Duty doesn't get nominated or awarded anything, just because it's people know what it is, and it's just, I don't know, it's a known quantity.
A spectacular achievement in Battlefield 1 nonetheless, but Doom did win Best Sound Design and Music, which I think is totally deserving. Best Performance, the nominations were Alex Hernandez as Lincoln Clay in Mafia 3, Sissy Jones as Delilah in Firewatch, excuse me, I got a coffee burp. Emily Rose as Elena in Uncharted 4, Nolan North as Nathan Drake in Uncharted 4, Rich Sommer as Henry in Firewatch, and Troy Baker as Sam in Uncharted. And Nolan North won. We predicted that correctly. I think that's a no-brainer. Spectacular performance from Nolan North as always.
From all of them.
Yes, and just the culmination of that character over a period of 4 games. Technically 5 if you consider Golden Abyss. And he'll go down in history as one of the most recognizable video game characters of this generation for sure going forward. And he's
not done yet. He's still got to do the Ghost in Destiny.
You're right. Yes, that's probably. Let's be honest. The Ghost is probably the role of Nolan North's lifetime.
Oh yeah,
for sure. That or the
just
Penguin
wait for
from
Destiny
Batman.
2, dude.
Yeah,
it's coming.
And I think I wouldn't say underrated, but one that people don't mention as often is when he played, what's his name in The Last of Us? David in the winter scene of The Last of Us. I won't spoil it for those who haven't played Last of Us, but he played David, that one crazy guy. So I mean, that's because I didn't even realize it was Nolan North until I finished that part, and I was like, holy crap, I think that was Nolan North. Because if you really listen for his voice, you can kind of pick up on it.
Maybe they'll just drop him in the new one.
Yeah, maybe. I think it'd be really cool for The Last of Us if he just plays another random new character that's someone they encounter along their journey. But yeah, we got that correct. Pretty cool. Next one on the list is Games for Impact. Now, I have a description for this because we were totally confused. The description was honoring exemplary games that take on... Oh, wait, sorry, I can't read. Honoring exemplary games that take on real-world issues and advocate for social change. And the nominations were 1979 Revolution, Blockhood, Orwell, Sea Hero Quest, and That Dragon Cancer. We predicted That Dragon Cancer, and I think we were kind of smart enough to guess that impact sounds like it would impact people personally, so we kind of were on the same page of that description, but we got that correct. And what a speech from that gentleman. That was very sad.
I almost shed a tear.
I know. I was like, man, and it's amazing too, though, that not only that it won, but the fact that he was able to take the tragedy of his son's loss, but turn that into something beautiful and turn it into an interactive story that people can not only interact with, but gain a better perspective on what it's like to not only go through an experience like that, but to lose a child through that it is amazing that he was able to take that life experience and turn it into something incredible like this. And I'm glad.
I really want to play it.
Me too. Yeah, I've heard it's really good and, like we said, very impactful. And it's amazing to see such a goofy award show. I mean, the whole thing's a giant goof fest, like purely for entertainment. But
It's
to have
hard
this,
to watch at times.
yeah, but to have this guy come up and share a heartfelt, heartbreaking story like that is super respectable, and I commend him for that. I'm glad the game won. But next one on the list is Best Independent Game. We had Firewatch, Hyperlight Drifter, Inside, Stardew Valley, and The Witness. We predicted Inside, and we got that correct. Just makes me want to play it even more. Just everyone has said it's phenomenal. Excited about that
I'm
one.
going to get to it sometime this winter.
Yeah, I probably will too.
Maybe after Last Guardian, although I do want to play Tomb Raider as well, so I don't know.
Yeah, I want to play that before Resident Evil. We'll see how it goes. I bought Skyrim too on the Black Friday deal.
God, I forgot Skyrim's out.
Yeah,
no.
I've signed up to download mods. I just haven't downloaded them yet because Final Fantasy came out. And I haven't been back to it, but I'm excited to screw around in Skyrim with mods.
I might not play Skyrim.
Dude,
It's just so much to put towards a game.
It is. It's going to be since I've played it for I think a couple hundred hours on Xbox 360. It'll be my game that when I kind of feel like just jumping into that world for an hour or two, it'll just be there for me. I'm not going to play for trophies. I'm just going to play with mods and just have a ton of fun with it and just go crazy.
I'm just going to be so exhausted after I finish Final Fantasy.
Right.
So I don't know if I want to jump into another huge world.
That's kind of why I wanted to, because I almost went balls deep in it for a while, and I stopped because I knew Final Fantasy was coming. I didn't want to feel like I was playing too much of an open world RPG before Final Fantasy came out and get burned out. But I will say it's funny how when I go into RPGs, I always want to play the nice guy when I start a new RPG. But since I played hundreds of hours of Skyrim, I'm like the biggest douchebag already. Like I escape from the dragon at the beginning. We go to that dude's house, and I can't remember the little village, whatever it's called. You get there and he's like, "Oh, come into my home and talk to my wife." And you talk to him, like, "You should go talk to the Jarl of Whiterun and stuff, Bulgriff." And I'm like, "Okay."
Bulgriff, Bulgriff.
Well, I walk out of his house and around to where his little blacksmith area is, and all like the dragonborn armor is all already laying there. And I'm like looking around. He's just staring at me. He's like, "Can I help you with something?" I was like, "No, sir." So I waited for it to become nighttime, and as soon as the night came, he walked back into his house, and I just like crouched and stole everything from him. I stole all of his iron ingots and crafted all this stuff. No. And I was like, "F you,
in
man."
In the dark?
Yeah.
He's just sleeping. He stole everything and made armor.
Thanks for the house, man. Or thanks for the F Shack. Signed Dirty Mike and the boys. And then I ran down the street, down the river, and killed some wolves, and I made my way to Whiterun. So I'm excited
to visit the Jarl.
Yes, Jarl Bulgriff. But it's funny to hear that character's voice at the very beginning of the game when you're in that cart headed to your death, and it's Bulgriff's voice from the Gamer Poop videos. I can't take that voice seriously anymore. If you guys haven't seen Gamer Poop before, just type into YouTube Gamer Poop. I promise you it is some of the funniest stuff you'll ever see.
Go watch the Skyrim, the Oblivions, the
Mass Effect.
What's that other game? The detective game?
Yeah, L.A. Noire.
L.A. Noire.
Those are my favorite ones by far. Yeah. I love those.
I never played that game, so I don't really know the context.
So funny. But if you're ever having a bad day, Gamer Poop will always make you smile. At least for me, it does. So next one on the list was Best Mobile/Handheld Game. We had Clash Royale, Fire Emblem Fates, Monster Hunter Generations, Pokemon Go, and Severed. We predicted... I let you predict Monster Hunter. And you got that wrong.
Yeah, I did.
It was Pokemon Go.
Dang it.
Which isn't a surprise. Pokemon Go won. Best VR game, was Batman Arkham VR, Eve, Job Simulator, Res Infinite, and Thumper. We predicted Batman, and Res Infinite won. I've seen gameplay. It just looks like a trippy experience. But I can't really vouch for it because I haven't played it.
I don't have VR, so...
Right. You've played it a good bit, though.
Not that game.
You're going to play that Star Wars X-Wing mission this week, I can tell you that much.
Maybe.
I hope you're excited.
Maybe you're playing it.
Hopefully it's more exciting than that Call of Duty Jackal.
Hey, it's Star Wars. It's got to be.
Yeah, because that Call of Duty thing was a huge letdown. I mean, I know it's just a little extra added thing. I'm glad they put it in there. I hope more developers do that for PSVR owners, but that kind of sucked. So hopefully Star Wars is better.
Yeah.
Next on the list is Best Action Game. I wanted to clarify these. I have description for both Action Game and Best Action Adventure Game because there are subtle differences here. So for Action Game, it was for the best game experience focused around first or third-person combat. The nominees were Battlefield 1, Doom, Gears of War 4, Overwatch, and Titanfall 2. We predicted Battlefield 1. Got it wrong. Doom won. Doom's phenomenal. I can't complain about that. I don't remember what our argument was for Battlefield 1. I guess we just said that was just the scale of it.
Because it wasn't winning anything else.
Yeah, I guess so. That's probably why we
I think we gave multiplayer to Overwatch.
Yeah. No,
I think.
but Doom is so good. And all this Doom talk and even the Doom live performance, which we'll talk about later at the Game Awards, makes me want to go back and play Doom again. Not the campaigns. I platinum that game. I just really want to experience that multiplayer again. And it's funny because I think the multiplayer is phenomenal. The simplicity of it, and I just really, really enjoyed it. Still undefeated, I must say. So is Preston.
But how many games have you played?
Well, between the beta and the full game, I've played whatever 48 plus 16 is. That's 6.
You played 48 games in the beta?
Yeah, me and Preston didn't lose. We're like, holy crap, we're like gods among men in Doom. So we played like nonstop for hours and never lost.
I guess that's not that much.
No. In retrospect, it's not. But whatever, I'm bad at math. Whatever 48 plus 16 is, we haven't lost yet. Which is now Preston played a lot more Doom after I stopped playing. Because I think I played Overwatch after that. Because you and I started playing a lot of Overwatch. He kept playing Doom. So I think Preston played up to close to 120 matches and still hadn't lost. I don't know what that's all about. We may lose going back to it because people have been playing for months now. But like I said, I'm interested to go back and try that game again because it's just so good. But that won Best Action Game. Next on the list was Best Action Adventure Game. The description was for the best game experience that combines combat with traversal and puzzle solving. The nominees were Dishonored 2, Hitman, Hyper Light Drifter, Ratchet & Clank, and Uncharted 4. We picked Uncharted 4, and Dishonored 2 won. I'm glad Dishonored 2 won an award, I should say. That was a great game. I finished it as Emily. I haven't played as Corvo yet. I don't know if I'll go back and play as Corvo, at least for a while, because we have Final Fantasy, Skyrim, Last Guardian. I want to play Inside. I really, really, really want to play XCOM 2. I know I've been saying that for months now, but I'm so excited to give that a try. Because forgive me, I think it was Ultima, actually, on Twitter, messaged me or something talking about XCOM, and he said he was loving it, and just got me more excited to play it. But yeah, Dishonored 2 won Best Action Adventure. How'd you feel about that one? Were you convinced that Uncharted was going to win?
Yeah.
So was I.
That's fine, though.
That is. That's what we're if I've been putting... Okay, there we are. I want to keep this in order. I get really mixed up on all these notes. We have so many pages here. Next one was Best RPG, and I knew we called this correctly. The nominees were Dark Souls 3, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Blood and Wine DLC, World of Warcraft, or Xenoblade Chronicles 10. The Witcher 3 won, and that's what we predicted. Just cool. That DLC was just spectacular. I keep saying spectacular. Please forgive me. That's like my word of the night. It is. It's remarkable.
I love that game.
Me too.
Like, Witcher 3 will go down as one of my favorite games of all
I
time.
envy everyone who has not played it yet, especially those that love fantasy RPGs like we do. If you've never played The Witcher and you're playing it for the first time, I think Sam Harris is one of them, isn't he? Leaf Ninja?
Yeah, I think
so.
Sam
Harris.
Is he playing it now?
Yeah, because I remember he said it. I think it was the community wall. He mentioned it. Sam Harris, just know.
Oh, yeah.
I envy you.
I think I responded to
So I'll never forget playing that game for the first time. And just the way it grows on you the more you play it. Never forget it.
Yeah, that game is just everything you could want in an RPG. Is just
that's a testament to how good it is that the DLC can beat out full games in that category because it's just so good.
And you both of you really praised Deus Ex.
We did. It was very good. I'm telling you, the reason it didn't win is because the mouths never sync up to the dialogue.
That bothered me.
It's the funniest thing in the world. But yeah, Witcher 3 I think is totally deserving. Love the game. Next category was Best Fighting Game. Jacob and I love fighting games. It's our favorite category. It's the one that was most meaningful to us. And the nominees were Killer Instinct Season 3, King of Fighters 14, Pokken Tournament, and Street Fighter 5. We predicted Street Fighter 5 because it's the only one we knew.
Well, wait, we said Street Fighter 5?
We did, yeah. I double-checked our sheet before we started this.
I didn't feel like I would have said that.
Yeah, well, I think we decided on it because I had heard of Killer Instinct. I know what that is on Xbox One, but Street Fighter 5 is the only one I've actually seen gameplay of. I'm like, well, Street Fighter 5 is popular, so we're just going to pick that, and we were correct in doing so.
Oh, did it win?
It did, yeah.
Oh, I don't remember
so
that.
we predicted that correctly.
I don't think they said that on the floor. I think it was just like
a lot of... I missed 5 or 6 of them because I didn't realize they were just going to throw them in real quick. Like Jeff Keighley
before the show even started, they said a few.
Yeah, Jeff Keighley was like, something. Oh, by the way, this one won this award. And I was like, wait, what was that? And I lost track of them, so I had to go back.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I had to do my research on a couple of them. But that was Best Fighting Game. Best Strategy Game. And this was a game focused on real-time or turn-based strategy, obviously. Nominations were Civ 6, Fire Emblem Fates, The Banner Saga 2, Total War Warhammer, and XCOM 2. We picked I can't say these names. I'm reading Civ 6, that's easy. That's probably why people say that. Civ 6 won, that's what we predicted. Because I've heard nothing but praise for that game. So Civ 6 won. That's pretty cool. Got another one correct. Best family game. This was best game for family play, including Toys to Life, rhythm, music, dance, and other genres. The nominees were Dragon Quest Builders, Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens, Pokemon Go, Ratchet and Clank, and Skylanders Imaginators. We predicted Pokemon Go. It was the winner. I think that was an easy one because the whole world played Pokemon Go for about.
Pokemon Go won 2 awards.
It did, yeah.
That's interesting.
So that I think it was obvious because the whole world played that game for about 3 or 4 weeks nonstop.
It's not a great game, but it was very fascinating how much it took over everything.
Yeah. It was
that's all people were talking about for at least a couple weeks to a month.
Mm-hmm.
Then it just died very quickly because they didn't do the right updates.
Right. It was a great time killer when we were on our Universal Orlando vacation.
Yeah.
Every time we waited in line, we just played Pokemon Go and all the lines flew by.
We went down to Atlanta just to shoot a video and play Pokemon Go.
We did. If you guys haven't seen it, I mean, it's ridiculous, but we have our Pokemon Go, I think it's called Big City Adventure Let's Play, where we go to the city of Atlanta and play Pokemon Go. It was a fun day.
Some guy sticks a cigarette
in your shirt.
Yeah, in my chest.
Yeah, we ran into a street musician. I can't remember his name. It's in the video, but he was pretty spectacular. I keep saying that word. Gosh.
Obviously.
What was the other word? Yeah, obviously was the other word I was saying. I always get hung up on words in these podcasts, but he's a very good street magician, and we had a good time.
I just
with
wonder
that
why
video.
you're saying musician.
Yeah. Best sports and racing game. The nominations were FIFA 17, Forza Horizon 3, MLB The Show 16, NBA 2K17, Pro Evolution Soccer 2017. It's kind of funny how they had to categorize the racing games and sports games together, but Forza won. We predicted NBA 2K17.
I don't know if there's enough racing games to have a category for just that.
Yeah, it makes sense. I'm not surprised if Forza won. I understand that Forza is really good. I've played NBA, I've played FIFA. But I guess Forza 1 is a great racing game. Beat the sports games. That's pretty cool.
I don't really care for any of that stuff.
Me neither. Best multiplayer. Battlefield 1, Gears 4, Overcooked, Overwatch, Titanfall 2, or Rainbow Six Siege. We predicted Overwatch and Overwatch 1. I'd have to agree with that. Battlefield 1, great. Gears 4's kind of been there, done that for me. Overcooked, I cannot wait to try that game. I want to play it with you because I feel like the co-op would be a lot of fun.
What is it on?
It's on PS4.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's like an arcadey type indie game. I'm going to download it at some point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to play it with you, Jacob. I hope you're down for that.
I'd like to play with you.
This is such a hard... Yeah, thank you, Jacob.
Without Overcooked.
Oh, that's fine. Like on top of this table?
Yeah.
Perhaps?
Yeah.
On camera?
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Everyone stay tuned to this episode, especially hop on over to YouTube if you want to see the action.
Leave a like and we'll be more likely to do it.
Yeah. Tune in next week.
The more likes we get, the longer we'll go.
Yeah. It's going to be the craziest Christmas carols. Jacob and I are going to make love on the table. Jacob might lose his hands. I might lose my hands. It's going to be just a bloody good time. So this category was exciting and difficult because all of these games have great multiplayer. So it was a hard one to choose, but I think we went with the safe one and said Overwatch.
Yeah. Like we said prior, this year was the year of the shooters, so very tough category.
Probably the best year in my history as a gamer for shooters. The only other one that came close to it was 2007 with Halo 3 and Modern Warfare 1, but that's not saying anything anymore. I mean, those games are phenomenal, but those were just 2 games versus how many? 1, 2, I mean, Overcooked is not a shooter, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, there might have been more than that, but all those shooters this year is awesome. I almost said spectacular again. Most anticipated game. Now, the last 3 are categories that we did not predict because they were not on the list of the website I referred to originally.
Yeah, I caught that, or I saw that Nerd Much didn't do all the different awards.
They did. That's okay, though. I still greatly appreciate Nerd Much. They do a lot for us on this podcast. The nominations were God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, Mass Effect Andromeda, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild won.
What was the category?
Most anticipated game.
Okay.
I think Breath of the Wild is probably my most anticipated game, especially after that new trailer. You want to talk about that a little bit before we move on?
You mean the trailer or the gameplay?
Both, I should say.
Thought it was fine.
I think it looks...
I'm just ready to play it.
I think it looks so good. I'm so excited to play it. I know Preston especially probably thinks I'm so dumb because I'm not like a hardcore Zelda fan, but something about this game just looks so good to me. Like I've said this a million times, something about Zelda deep within me, there's like the biggest Zelda fan with me that I haven't let unleash. And Like I said, I've disgraced myself as a gamer for years because it took me literally a decade to beat Ocarina of Time. And I love that game. I finally beat it. I was like, I've come full circle as a gamer. I can finally say I respect myself for doing that now. But Wind Waker and Ocarina of Time are the only ones I've beaten. I started Majora's Mask and I made it a few hours into the game but stopped playing. It's still in my possession. Maybe I'll play it at some point because Preston just leaves his 2DS here. But I'm so pumped for Breath of the Wild. I'm without a doubt playing that. Hopefully on Switch. Hopefully I can get one of those pre-orders. I'd love to play the game as soon as
I'd like one of them bad
possible.
boys.
And I think we talked about it last week, the rumors that it's probably coming in summer of next year.
What?
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, that's what I think. Maybe.
So, Maybe that's pretty cool. It's my most anticipated game. On that list, what's your most anticipated game?
Horizon.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm looking forward to Mass Effect too.
So am I.
But probably Horizon.
Okay. Yeah, if I had to order these, I'd say Breath of the Wild, Red Dead.
Red Dead?
Yeah.
You don't even know anything about it yet.
Well, that's the thing. I already know it's going to be great. I'm just going to pretend all these are coming out on the same day. These are my most anticipated. Breath of the Wild.
God, if all these came out on the same day,
it'd be the end of the
my
world.
wallet would be, my money would be gone.
That would be the apocalypse. That's what would cause it. Breath of the Wild is number 1. 2 would be Red Dead. 3 would be Mass Effect. 4 would be Horizon, and 5 would be God of War. Literally backwards on that list would be my most anticipated. I'm excited for all of them, but that'd be my order. Next category was Trending Gamer, presented by Intel. Don't forget it, Jacob. The nominations were Angry Joe Show, Boogie, Boogie to 988, Danny O'Dwyer, Jacksepticeye, and Lyric. And Boogie won. It's pretty cool.
I think they made the right choice.
I think so
I've
too.
always liked and respected Boogie.
Me too.
And, he's a good guy.
I don't watch his videos often, but when I have, I've enjoyed them.
I used to watch him a lot. I took a break the last couple of years, but I started watching him again recently. He's a genuine guy. He's really nice.
I was going to say he's down to earth, and he's also very intelligent. I think he's very smart. I know he goofs around his Francis character a lot,
which
but
is hilarious.
When he's serious, I think he's a really smart dude. But that's awesome. I'm happy for him for winning that. Best esports game: Counter-Strike, Dota 2, League of Legends, Overwatch, Street Fighter 5, and Overwatch 1 best esports game as well.
So they won 4 awards.
Yep, they won esports, Game of the Year, Direction, and Multiplayer.
Wow.
That's awesome. Overwatch killed him. It's funny because we thought Uncharted was going to win everything, but Overwatch took over. They reigned supreme, but the only thing they failed on was playing that victory theme. They really screwed up with that one.
I think it's going to be okay.
Yeah. So that was the nominations and all the winners and the losers, and we got it's on the front page here. We got, out of the categories that we predicted, we only predicted 18 categories. We got 10 out of the 18 correct, which is roughly 55.5% correct. So like I said, barely positive, but positive nonetheless. So our KD's still up there on the charts, Jacob.
We have some work to do.
We do. We
need to practice more.
I've always been envious of pro gamers, especially shooters, when they're like, all right, guys, practice tomorrow.
Yeah, let's get our scrims going.
Yeah, you just practice playing a shooter all day. And
that's your job.
You're getting paid. I'm like, that's the dream.
Yeah, working different strategies like you would never think to do in a regular game.
Yeah. They literally make plays. Like, I think that's amazing.
Have you ever seen pros play Overwatch?
Only once.
It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Like,
it's amazing.
If you think like we pair ultimate's good in our games, like my goodness, it's just chaos. But it's like coordinated chaos.
Jacob and I were talking if any esports tournament at this point, but if an Overwatch esports tournament came to Atlanta, we would be the first ones in the door. We would totally go. I think that'd be so exciting.
If we had an Overwatch team in Atlanta, like a franchise team, I would like wear gear all the time, like support them.
I
awesome.
100% would. That'd be so
just
cool.
like a sports team.
Buy season tickets, dude. I was going to say, there's this this is so random to talk about, but I'd be interested in hearing if anyone knows of any places like this. There's this bar not far from where we live called Battle and Brew. It's literally a video game bar where they serve alcohol, but there's a bunch of video games. So you know a little more about it. What games do they have there?
I think they have a bunch of PCs, and they might have consoles around too.
Okay, but they have Overwatch,
I don't know much about it. Yeah, they have Overwatch. They have several games on their computers.
Do you know what the inside is? Is there a certain aesthetic in the place? Do you know, what it looks like?
I haven't.
I'm hoping it's like a tavern look, like an old tavern.
I don't think it's a tavern.
That'd be so cool if it was.
I think there's probably a bunch of neon lights everywhere or something.
Okay. Well, there's this cool bar called Battle and Brew, which sounds like my kind of bar because I hate going to the bars. I don't hate people. I just hate going to the bars and being in I feel like I'm in a slaughterhouse surrounded by sweaty people.
I don't like being around a bunch of sweaty people, and when it's like packed, that's a nightmare.
Now, Battle and Brew could be like that. We don't know. But the idea is just so cool to me. A video game bar. How cool is that? If there's anything like that around you guys, I'd love to hear about it, because that's the first time I've heard about something like that, and it sounds like a match made in heaven to me. I'm not even a heavy drinker, but I'd totally go to the bar and get a beer and play some Overwatch and PC and get my ass kicked. I don't know about you, Jacob. Start our esports team at Battle and Brew. I'd like to just find someone random and then be like, hey man, do you want to get some tasty brews and play some what's the game called, Hearthstone at the bar? Yeah, with some randos.
I'm sure they have Hearthstone there.
Don't ever forget my favorite word is rando. So that was all the nominations. We did half decent. I'd be interested in knowing how you guys did with all the nomination stuff. How many you got correct if you did predict all of them like we did. So actually, I want to refer to, forgive me, I can't remember your name. I got to refer to the previous podcast, but he predicted all the categories as well, and they were pretty solid predictions. I'm interested to see how you did. But again, thank you for making predictions, all that you did. I'm interested to hear them. But let's talk about Game Awards announcements, Jacobs. Now, it was one thing seeing all the awards and the winners and stuff. That's exciting. But the world premieres are pretty exciting as well. To start us off, we already briefly talked about Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild trailer. It looks awesome. Very excited to play it. Bulletstorm full clip is coming April 7th, 2017, and the original was released in 2011 by People Can Fly and Epic Games, and this one's published by Gearbox. Gearbox is now publishing games, probably because Battleborn tanked, and like, we have to make money somehow before Borderlands 3 comes out. God. But I think this is cool because I never played Bulletstorm. I was interested in it because I know Cliffy B played a role in the development of that game, obviously with Epic Games before he left.
Looks interesting.
It does. It looks like a very goofy, like the gameplay style of Doom, but just very goofy and fun.
I don't know if I would be interested in it. It looks fun to a certain point, but I feel like it becomes too chaotic for me to enjoy.
I understand. It's funny because one of the main draws of that game, one of the main goals, is the more stylish you kill things, the more points you rack up. So the crazier you are, the higher your score, which I always thought was a little intriguing. But I'm going to probably play it because I never played the original, and I've heard it's a lot of fun, so I might give that a shot.
I've never heard of it until this point. So.
Oh. Excuse me, those coffee burps are getting to me. Death Stranding features Guillermo del Toro and Mads Mikkelsen in that trailer, which I thought was kind of funny and cool. What do you think of that trailer?
It's confusing.
Yeah, those are the kind of dreams I have at night every time I go to sleep. I see Guillermo del Toro with a baby in a womb, and I see Mads Mikkelsen playing his villain from Doctor Strange for the second time, it looks like.
I think it is very cool how if you put both the trailers together, the baby disappears and reappears at different points.
Mm-hmm.
So this baby is going to have something huge to do with the story.
You think it's a good baby or a bad baby?
I don't know.
Good baby?
I don't know, dude. I don't know anything. I don't know what this game is. And
the only thing I can recall Hideo saying was talking about the strings attaching to people, and you can see Mads Mikkelsen looks like he's attached to all those soldiers, and he detaches, and they all run towards Guillermo. And he has those weird shadows around his eyes. He looks exactly like the dude from Doctor Strange, that I thought was funny. But Mads Mikkelsen, he's like in everything now. He's playing Hannibal.
He is in Doctor Strange.
He's the villain in Doctor Strange. He plays Hannibal in the TV show. He's also in Rogue One as Jyn Erso's father. He's killing it, man. Now he's going to make an appearance in Hideo's new game, Death Stranding. So like we said, we don't know what to think about that. Hideo's probably going to keep throwing random trailers and random tidbits at us until the game's released, and it's going to get delayed 6 times. We'll probably see it in 2035 or something. Jacob and I will be in a senior citizen's home by then.
I hope not.
It'll eventually come. The next one was Warframe. I typed it wrong. I said Warfare on the notes, but I knew I was talking about Warframe.
That was a launch game on PS4, right?
It was, and game. I know Preston played that for probably a few hours. He tried to get me into it. I'm not even exaggerating, Jacob. I played for about 25 seconds. I was like, not for me. Now, I'm sure it's cool, but I just wasn't in the mood for that at all when PS4 launched. I wanted to play, PS4's here. All the games look amazing. I want to play the best games that are out. And it was either Knack or Battlefield 4. Yeah. So I played the crap out of Battlefield 4, but what amazed me about this, now I don't have the exact statistic, I forgot what it is. It's between 20 and 25 million, But they said they have something like 20-something million players. And I don't know if all of those are active players. I don't know if that's the culmination. The culmination of how many people have played it over time, probably. But when they said that number, I was like, holy crap, that is insane. And they've had that. Like I said, it could be just the culmination of everyone that's played it since launch. But if they had that many active players, that's unbelievable.
There's no way.
I don't know if that's the case, but I thought that was interesting. Guardians of the Galaxy, the Telltale series is coming. Are you interested in this?
Sure. I don't know.
I don't know if I'm interested in it. I like Guardians of the Galaxy a lot, but I've never played a Telltale game until Batman.
I've never played one, so...
Yeah, I'm loving Batman. I haven't played the latest episode yet, but I don't really have any interest in dabbling in any other characters. The only reason why I wanted to play Batman is because I've always been interested in Bruce Wayne just as much as I am Batman, like his psyche and what he deals with on a daily basis and the decisions he has to make as an individual, as Batman and Bruce Wayne and how they affect one another. Yeah. So that's why I was excited about that.
I heard someone point out on the Game Informer podcast that it's going to be interesting that Telltale is going to have a DC video game and a Marvel video game at the same time.
It's best of both worlds. Yeah. That's pretty cool. And we're going to talk about the Guardians trailer later because that baby Groot stole the show for sure. Next, we have the Dauntless trailer. This is a free-to-play PC game. We don't play PC because we're superior console players, and all the PC players know this. They just can't accept it yet.
Yeah.
So I don't have much to say about that. It looks kind of interesting. The Lawbreakers trailer from Cliffy B, who basically came out and talked about a controller scheme, if I'm not mistaken. They asked him about Lawbreakers. He's like, you can do this button to do this and that button to do that. Yeah. It was kind of weird, but Cliffy B's a cool dude. He's like the Tony Stark of the games industry, it seems like. Yeah. But I think Lawbreakers looks really cool. I just won't play it because it's on PC, obviously, unless I invest in a PC rig down the road. Don't know when that'll be, but the day will come. I have no doubt about it. So I appreciate all who have suggested PCs to us over the last couple of years because I'm excited to eventually make that purchase. Prey gameplay trailer. What'd you think about this?
I'm not interested in that at all.
Really?
No.
Okay, why is that?
I don't know. It just looks boring to me.
Okay. It reminds me of... Now, it's ironic I say this because there's two Arcane studios. There's one in France and I think there's one in Texas. If I'm not mistaken, it's the Texas studio that's doing Prey. Or maybe vice versa. I can't remember. No idea. But Dishonored, I thought, was demoed poorly. Now, the game, to me, looked cool because I'm a Dishonored fan when they demoed it at E3 and stuff like that. But I never saw a demo for Dishonored 2 that blew me away. I was like, oh, that looks kind of weird. And I actually watched a cringe compilation of E3 2016 while I was bored at work earlier, and I was laughing. So I didn't realize how many awkward moments are actually, because you don't really realize it while you're watching the show, but when you watch it back and the highlights of all the weird moments, it's so funny, all the things that happen. But the demo for Dishonored was pretty bad. And the Prey demo, or gameplay trailer, I should say, I don't think it was bad. It just reminds me of Dishonored in the sense that it looks kind of bizarre and unexciting in the trailer, but I think the gameplay's gonna be really cool. I got a BioShock vibe from it. I'm not the first to say that. Many have said that. Looks like BioShock to me, which excites me. Just the fact that I can turn into a coffee cup. I could turn into this Kylo Rig mug if I wanted to.
That was cool. I'll admit that. That was very cool.
So it looks like he can turn into just tangible objects around him and use those objects to get in certain places if he needs to. So that's an interesting mechanic.
You want to know what my problem is?
Let's hear it.
I don't get excited for single-player, first-person games anymore.
Okay, what about multiplayer?
Yeah, like shooters and stuff, but I don't know. Like, even like thinking back to Wolfenstein and like just other Bethesda games for the most part, like I just don't get excited for them.
Okay.
I do love BioShock. They're Infinite. I still haven't played. That's something else I need to play this winter is BioShock.
Oh yeah, you're in for a real treat with those.
I have so many games I need to play.
Do you already have BioShock?
No.
You can borrow mine if you want.
Well, I kind of want to own it.
You want to own it yourself?
Yeah.
What if I just gave it to you?
Why would you give it to me?
I could give it to you for Christmas. I already got Preston a Christmas gift. I think he's really going to like his Christmas gift.
I don't need a Christmas gift.
On our Christmas episode, whatever we decide to talk about, I'm going to have you guys open the gifts I'm getting for you.
Oh, yeah?
I may have just spoiled one of yours. I could just give it to you with a bow on it right now if you'd like.
I don't need it.
But yeah, but I think it looks cool. I think Bethesda's killing it with their single player games. Like we have.
Yeah, it's not to say they aren't doing a good job. It's just, it's not what I'm into right now.
When you think about it, Prey, Doom, Dishonored, Fallout, and what's the other one? I think Quake is another one. All these different. I mean, they're all different styled games, but in a sense, they're
Wolfenstein.
They have shooter aspects. Yeah, Wolfenstein's another one. They're all very diverse games coming out of that publisher, and I think that's really cool, and I enjoy all of them. So I'm just excited about. I love Arcane Studios. Dishonored's great. I know they're Prey's an entirely different game, so I'm excited to try it out. I never played any of the original Prey, so this will be my debut into the series. But who knows? We'll see how it goes, Jacob. If you're not interested, maybe you will be when the time comes.
Maybe, Garrett.
Maybe you'll see that demo that changes your mind. Maybe you'll be like me and go in with zero expectations and it'll blow you away.
Maybe.
You never know. Next one was Shovel Knight Spectre of Torment. This says, Spectre of Torment is a prequel to Shovel Knight, the developer revealed. Instead of a little blue hero, it features the villainous Spectre Knight. Players will work to establish the Order of No Quarter, the evil group that fights against Shovel Knight in the main game. I thought Spectre Knight was the coolest knight in the game. I did play and beat that, I think it was over the summer. Awesome game. Everyone was right that told me it was good, and I enjoyed it.
I need to play it. That trailer was awesome.
It was.
I want to play that so bad.
It was an excellent experience in the Vita. Also
I'm
available
pretty sure
on PS4.
it's on 3DS too, and I assume that's going to come to 3DS.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I loved Shovel Knight, and I haven't played. I don't. Forgive me, I'm not an expert on bits. I don't know if it was 8-bit, 16-bit. I don't know.
Whoa, that's 14-bit, dude.
Dude, that's exactly 17.25 bits, dude. Get it right.
Next time,
you
count
can't
the
do a
bits.
podcast if you don't know those stats, bro. But I don't know the bits, but I haven't played an old school side scroller game with that type of level design and thought that went into it. I mean, every level was completely different, introduced brand new mechanics on how you have to tackle these certain levels. All the level design was all diverse and amazing, always different, always a fresh experience, and you had to take those mechanics that you learned and fight each boss, and it made it exciting at the end where you have to fight every single boss again, but using all the mechanics you've culminated over the game. It was awesome. So that game has a lot to offer to those who haven't experienced it yet. I highly suggest Shovel Knight. Halo Wars 2, and Halo Wars 2 is the definitive edition. That's kind of cool. I'm not going to play this. We did a Let's Play of the Halo Wars 2 beta, and we're just awful, which is to be expected because I have no experience in, I think you call this an RTS, real-time strategy, correct? So I don't have a mind for that. I've always been interested in those games. I just kind of suck at them, and I haven't dedicated time to them. What's that other one? Is it StarCraft? Is that an RTS?
Yeah. So is XCOM, right? Or is it not?
Sort of. It's not. I don't think it's on this scale. It's like a smaller scale type strategy game because you have like a squadron of guys. You have to get through areas and try to keep your squad alive and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But I think it's cool that the definitive edition's coming. I think you get that for, let me read it real quick. It says, Halo developer 343 Industries has revealed that anyone who pre-orders the digital version of Halo Wars 2 Ultimate Edition will get access to the remastered Halo Wars Definitive Edition this month. So that's pretty cool. It's all revamped too, so you get that for free if you pre-order Halo Wars 2. For those fans out there, that's exciting. A pretty solid deal. The next one was Walking Dead: A New Frontier from Telltale. I've heard that's like their premiere series from Telltale. Haven't played it, and I almost feel like it's too late because I've avoided spoilers because I always felt like I might go through and play all those games, but just somehow, someway, I listen to so many podcasts that something always slips from someone, and I kind of have an idea of already where the story is.
I don't remember any of it at this point,
mm-hmm.
So I might play it one day.
Yeah, perhaps I will, but I feel like Walking Dead, I see it everywhere, and I've heard this is the best way to, I mean, this is probably the best Walking Dead content, even beyond the show, is what I've heard. But that's pretty cool. The trailer I thought was cool. I just haven't played any of it, so I can't say I'm excited. But Elder Scrolls Online's new trailer, don't play the game, but I'm glad to see that it's still going. People seem to be enjoying it. I know Preston tried to get us into it. He played for a couple weeks. He's like, I promise it's really fun, and we didn't buy it. So I think we did a Let's Play of that too. What was that? What did we name our chubby character when we made him?
I don't know.
It was a very specific name.
Was that when we played the beta?
Yeah, it was like Lizard King or something. I don't remember. I have to go back and check. But that's pretty cool. Mass Effect Andromeda's gameplay trailer. Now, this is what we'll dive in a little more. Let's make a note of this so I don't lose it. So Mass Effect Andromeda, we got a gameplay trailer. We saw some combat. We saw Ryder, the female Ryder, scanning environments. We saw giant open areas. Some exploration, wildlife encounters, wild animals attacking us. We saw dialogue options, of course, staple of the BioWare games, and interacting within scenes. For example, that, I think, not an Asari, it was the other race, whatever Garrus' race is, coming up to her with a gun in hand, and you have the option to disarm him or just take it, but she disarmed him, which I thought was pretty cool. And I know that's not technically a new thing in Mass Effect, because you could interact within dialogue cutscenes and stuff in the past, but just initial thoughts, Jacob. What do you think of this trailer?
The first thing that really impressed me was the combat. Just looks impressive and looks fun, which is the most important thing to a video game. Is, are you gonna have fun?
Absolutely.
And the worlds look beautiful. it looks like a good looking game. They've spent a lot of time making this game, so I would hope that it looks good. And they sold me on like just going to this new galaxy and just like you're the alien now.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be interesting how that story plays out and how like we interact with all these races where we're kind of invading, trying to find a place for humanity to go. Because I guess the Milky Way is dying. Is that why we're there? Or Earth is dying? I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, Earth got pretty effed
before.
up at the end of Mass Effect 3.
Okay.
I mean, it's still there, but...
But this takes place before that. Or we leave before 3. Right.
Correct. I forgot about that. We leave at the end of Mass Effect 2, if I'm not mistaken. It takes place before the events of Mass Effect 3. I forgot about that.
Probably by the time we get there, 3's already happened because travel.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I thought the trailer was very exciting as well. It's great to finally see combat in the game. I mean, whatever that was, it E3. No, it was the PS Pro reveal conference.
That was garbage.
And in its defense, that was strictly a hardware reveal conference. So I wasn't expecting any spectacular gameplay from anyone, but that was a weak demo we saw from Mass Effect. It was cool to see a cutscene, I guess, but it was very boring watching Ryder just walk through a weird, sparkly tunnel and talk to someone. But this was an awesome trailer. The combat looks as great as ever. I've always loved all the various abilities that you can customize for your character, in addition to just the shooting mechanics alone. So I'm super pumped for that. And they made it look like the game's much farther along than it probably is. And I hope it comes out. I hope it comes out in March. That would be so awesome if they pulled. I mean, they announced it a long time ago, but if they pulled a Fallout where they just tease it up until right before release and then they just unleash the floodgates, I'd love that. But we'll see, because I would love to play that at the beginning of next year, because I love Mass Effect, and this looks super exciting.
BioWare is the king of dialogue, like conversation options.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see how some of those play out too.
Certainly. Yeah, I've always loved that, and building relationships with your squad and everything. And I have heard that the loyalty missions are back, and I don't know if the Paragon Renegade system's back. I think they said they're leaving that out again, maybe. But I've always loved building either a good or bad character. That's what I was missing in Fallout to me, was that you could be the biggest douchebag, but it really doesn't matter. You could be the biggest nice guy. I've always loved to see my consequences in RPGs like this. So we'll see. And the other interesting thing to me was the giant open areas. I got a very No Man's Sky vibe. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but a No Man's Sky vibe where you're in these big open areas on these various planets you can explore, and you can scan items. You can scan whole planets from your spaceship to see what resources it has to offer.
I was watching the comments on I was watching this on YouTube Gaming or whatever, where it was being streamed, and all the comments on the side were like, No Man's Sky 2?
Yeah. I had a feeling people
No Man's Sky update?
Yeah. Man, they've really come a long way with this update. Sean Murray's really killing it with this one. But like we said, who knows where Sean Murray is? He's probably on Mars. He probably actually went to space to hide from everyone.
Probably like shipped him out.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Now we have that giant vehicle to explore these open areas. Originally it was called the Mako. I keep forgetting the name of the new vehicle, but it has no combat capabilities, which I think is a good idea, because you could arguably just roll around in your big vehicle and run over people.
I think it's called Monstro.
I don't think it's Monstro.
Monstro the whale.
Oh, you're right. Monstro the whale is the name of your space vehicle. That seems pretty fun, kind of throwing it back to the original where you can just drive around and get from point A to point B. But overall, Jacob, great trailer, I thought. I'm very excited to play it.
I am too.
So the next little segment of the game, we're still on Game Awards. Wow. Best Live Performance. What do you think won that award? We had
Doom.
Yeah, definitely Doom. But the last one was Ray Shremmerd with Black Beatles. That girl is a real crowd pleaser. Is that how it goes?
Yeah.
Forgive me of that rendition. I was going to cover it on my additional YouTube channel if you guys want to check it out. Black Beatles. I guess that's a good song.
Unfortunately, the Doom performance kind of bothered me a little bit, because obviously the guy, it didn't look like he was even playing the guitar.
I don't know if he was. Now, don't get me wrong. I've seen his documentary of making the Doom album, and he definitely is an incredibly talented musician, very intelligent too. If you see what it isn't just, I mean, there's a lot of guitar in it, but if you see all the technicalities that went into producing this record, it's like unbelievable.
This, like, it was a little over the top, that guy in particular.
Well, I thought it was awesome, because you know,
I just feel like he's being an idiot.
I love when a metal band just doesn't care and just goes crazy. And he had the drummer.
I didn't feel like he was metal enough to do that. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I thought it was awesome. And I was just having flashbacks of playing the game when he was playing it live. But it probably was a backing track just so he could go nuts and make it exciting. But it sounded awesome nonetheless. And the drummer was from a band called Periphery, I think. I keep forgetting how to pronounce it, but that's a metal band that's really awesome. He's a very talented drummer. So it was cool to see him.
It seemed
there.
like he was the only one really playing.
Yes. And I could also tell that the guy on keys and synth was also playing, because whenever he would play the synth parts of the Doom soundtrack in particular, it didn't sound like the recorded version. You could tell it was live. Okay. And then they did the surprise Quake theme, which I had heard. I just didn't realize it was Quake until someone had pointed out in the comments. But that was just a little surprising because he also did the Quake album, if I'm not mistaken. And I know he's working on the new Wolfenstein. I think he did the New Order as well. Or yeah, the New Order. First Blood was the DLC, right? Something like that. The Old Blood.
Old Blood?
Old Blood was the DLC, but he did New Order soundtrack as well, which is cool because those soundtracks are entirely different from the other. But I thought the performance was awesome. I understand why some people thought it was a little cringy. The funniest part to me is, and this reminds me, we can totally attest to this, whenever you go to live shows like this that are either streamed or recorded, it's mostly fake. Because Jacob and I, this is a side story, Jacob, and Zach Bynum, who's been on this podcast several times, were in what was it? DECA. It was called DECA Club in high school. If any of you were in DECA Club in your high school, give DECA a shout out. It was like a marketing business club where we were just in it because it gave us the opportunity to go on fun field trips, and we just BS'd our way through the club, and it was fun. So we just goofed off the whole time. But we had one field trip where we got to go to the Fox Theater in Atlanta. It's a very fancy, famous theater where stage plays are held and fancier musical events and stuff throughout the year. But I went to the Fox Theater for America's Got Talent. They were filming there this one particular day in our school. All these high schools were invited to attend. And this is so funny. So we show up, we all had to wear I think we all had to wear button downs and ties and blazers and stuff to this event. And we walk in the door of the Fox Theater. It's me, Zach, and Jacob. And this guy is pointing us to where he wants us to sit in the room. And I'll never forget how bad I felt for you. But this is so funny. So it's me, Zach, and then Jacob's behind me, I think. So he points to Zach. He's like, all right, you go to the middle section. And he points to me, you go to the middle section. He's like, all right, you, sir, you go to the far right. So Jacob goes to the far right, like side stage practically. And me and Zach sit, I kid you not, there's a picture on my Facebook. Maybe I'll throw it up on the podcast or somewhere. Maybe on our Facebook page I'll throw it up or something. But there's a screenshot that our friend's mom took of me and Zach sitting right in between the two judges' heads on America's Got Talent on national television when it aired. But it's funny because when you go to a TV production like this, they basically tell you if 3 or more people cheer for a certain person, the entire section has to stand up and cheer. But if 3 or more people boo for someone, the entire front section behind the judges also has to boo. So it's, in a way, it's semi-staged because you kind of have to do what everyone else chooses to do. So of course me and Zach took advantage of that rule. So all these people were performing and we'd have to like jump up and act super excited for certain people, and then other times we'd have to act like we hated them. And I'll never forget this. We looked like the biggest assholes. They probably cut it intentionally, but this little girl came up to do hula hoop or something. Oh, no. And it probably was a decent talent, but we intentionally were like, let's just be hilarious and just stand up and boo the crap out of her. So me and Zach, the only 2 people in the entire room, stand, boo! This poor little girl doing hula hoop. And I can't remember, but I think a few more people tried to jump in and boo her, but I think the whole room just like defied us completely. Like, you can't humiliate this little girl like that. We tried and failed, I think, but it's the funniest screenshot to see. I think his name's Howie Day or something. What's that other guy's name that everyone hates, that British guy?
You mean Simon?
Not Simon. It's the other guy.
I don't know.
I can't remember his name. But
I don't
then
watch shows.
whatever. What's Ozzy Osbourne's wife's name again?
I don't know.
Sharon or something?
No. Is it Sharon?
I can't remember. If you've seen the show, you know what I'm talking about. Ozzy Osbourne's wife. In between her and Howie Day, you can see me and Zach just like the biggest smiles on our faces on TV, which is so funny. With that being said, if you analyze all these performances, you can tell they've selected a group of people to go to the front of the stage.
Oh yeah, they go crazy.
They rope them off. They're like, all right, everyone, you're going to be on TV, you're going to be on the internet, everyone's going to see you, so you have to go crazy the whole time. Even if you hate it, you have to go crazy. So you can see that during Doom and all these other performances, everyone's losing their minds. But whenever they'd pan out and you'd see the whole room, everyone's just sitting there. I thought that was so funny. I was just like, when's this going to be over? But that's pretty funny to think that everyone in the room's like, this is a little awkward to have all these people going crazy in front of us. We're all just sitting here checking our watches.
Right.
But I thought Doom was awesome because, like I said, loved the soundtrack. I think Mick Gordon is awesome. I didn't even know he existed until the Doom soundtrack when I really started researching, and he's done an amazing job with countless albums for decades, I think. And I thought the performance could have been fake on his end, but I know he can play for real, so I'm okay with it. But I enjoyed it.
Cool.
What were those? What was that first band called that played?
I don't know, dude. They were so bad though. They have a name, like they're. I
don't know who they were, but
they're an actual like duo.
Okay. Now I don't want anyone to think.
Oh my gosh.
I hope no one takes offense to us making fun of them, but I had a good chuckle when they went on.
It was just so bad.
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
It sounded terrible.
I can't even remember what it sounded like. I'll probably just have to look it up.
I don't even know if they're good, but just like hearing them live at that particular show, they sounded horrible.
It wasn't as good as Doom. I think Doom won best live performance, but they gave it their best shot. Now let's talk about the most awkward moments of the show, Jacob. Any to come to mind just randomly off the top of your head?
Well, I'm probably gonna steal this from you, but crap. The name's
Nolan North.
Yes, Nolan North trying to get a high five from someone and it never comes to him. He just keeps like stumbling up the stairs.
Oh gosh, that was so bad.
That was when he won the performance, right?
Yeah.
Oh man,
And that was I have that on the top of my list for most awkward moments because Nolan North is like a rock star in the industry, and he's running up. Nolan North wins. Oh, cool! Everyone called it, but cool.
Right.
So he's running on stage, and they film the whole thing. It's not like they cut away, but they film the whole thing where he goes up the stage and he's like trying to high five someone. It feels like 10 seconds. He just has his hand out looking at the person, and no one does anything. He's finally just like, oh, okay, and he goes on stage.
Another one I remember. I don't remember who this guy was, but it was one of the times when they went to the Assassin's Creed thing.
Tim Miller, the director of Deadpool.
Yeah. When he was asking that lady why she was shouting.
Yeah, that was so funny. He was just keeping it real. I can respect that. She's like, oh, welcome to the Assassin's Creed VR experience. She's like, why are you yelling?
Why are you yelling?
He's like, it's like a wind tunnel in here. She's like, well, they pay me to be excited.
Let's see. Obviously, the music performances were kind of cringy.
Mm-hmm. What about Hydrobot? How'd you feel about Hydrobot?
Oh yeah,
the walking razor
sponsor.
Yeah,
jeez, dude.
I think that's one of the biggest crutches of the Game Awards of the various sponsors. And in the past 2 years, they've done that where they cut to some product or game they're trying to promote. I think the year prior it was Battlefront, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
They were promoting Battlefront, and like Dead Mouse is there, and they ask him like a stupid question. And he seems like he seems like annoyed. He's like, "Why did I decide to do this?" Probably, but they always push something really random and annoying. They're always cutting to it, and everyone knows like they're doing it for the money, like they kind of have to. But it's just silly. But
I remember when the going back to awkward moments, the esports player of the year guy won. And he like said this long thing, and I don't know what language he was speaking, but then the translator like said like one sentence. And obviously, that's not what he said.
I was thinking like, man, this going wrong. She probably caught like half of him. Like he says, "Thank you."
Yeah, have a good night.
Essentially, but
and there were several other moments, but they're escaping me right now. Mm-hmm. I'm sure. Do you have any more?
Not. I will say, although there's some cringy moments, I don't think it was as cringy as last year's Game Awards. And I think the cringiest moment of last year's is when. I always forget her name. The lady who, I think she original developer of Assassin's Creed, who went on stage and mentioned, could you ever imagine Metal Gear without David Hayter or whatever? And everyone was like silent because Kiefer Sutherland was like in the audience that night. I'm like, and she's just like smiling and everyone's dead silent. I'm like, that is too funny. Yeah. But overall, thankfully, it wasn't too cringy. We had some fun announcements, great awards, and Overwatch won, so congratulations to Overwatch. Now, let's get to some Game Awards questions. I pulled these from our community questions section. Thankfully, we have questions that pertain to our various topics this evening, and then we have random questions at the end.
Okay.
So the first one comes from Jamie on Twitter using the hashtag AskIOG. Forgive me, I think you're a he. It could be a she. Right? I think it's a he.
She.
He asks, What games do you guys recommend to get from the Game Awards video game sale for PS4? I'll address the elephant in the room. The sale ended on Saturday, December 3rd, so it's too late to accept the deals, but I will say some of these deals aren't massive. Some of them are pretty solid, but some of them weren't a huge difference. But just for the sake of mentioning games that you may or may not already have, I wrote some of the ones down that stood out to me that if you're still willing to buy them regardless of the sale, they have Battlefield 1 for $40.19. That's just the standard edition, but you can get, this is an amazing deal to me, you can get Battlefield 1 and Titanfall 2 in a deluxe bundle for $74.99.
That's a deal.
$10 more after tax. You can get Titanfall 2 and Battlefield 1 for almost the price of one game. That's amazing.
That's crazy.
So that's really cool. Dishonored 2.
You can't know.
Yeah, it's over now. But that was an amazing
See what
deal.
you missed?
Yeah, Dishonored 2 for $40.19. That's pretty cool. That's $20 off. Doom for $30. If you haven't played Doom, I know a lot of other people on this podcast have praised it as well, but that is an amazing shooter.
A lot of other people on this podcast, you mean Preston?
I mean, like, community members have also stated their love for Doom. And Preston. Inside, definitely. I haven't played it, but I know it. Everyone's told me it's great, so that was another one. Firewatch is another great indie game that ran poorly, but I think when you disregard the poor... what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it. No. I thought the storytelling was awesome. No, the ending, everything about it was great except for the what's the word? My brain's melting. Except performance. That's what it was.
What performance was bad?
It was not the characters, just the game itself ran poorly. Remember, it would stutter a lot and the frame rate dropped constantly.
I don't remember that.
Oh, it did for me. It ran terribly, but overall, great indie game. Witcher 3 Wild Hunt for $20. We've said it a million times.
Oh my god!
And then for $10 more, you can get the complete edition, which comes with all the DLC.
Dude, oh my gosh, what a deal!
I know. We've said a million times. If you haven't played Witcher 3,
you could play that for 2-3 months.
You could.
And that's all you need.
Mm-hmm. And it'll keep you entertained the whole time. It kept me entertained the entire time. So, yeah, I apologize. I mean, I didn't see your question till tonight because I was so busy with work. I didn't even have a chance to get on Twitter except to put out our tweet about this stuff that we wanted to hear from you guys. But I appreciate your question nonetheless, Jamie. I wanted to throw those suggestions out there if you haven't played any of those. I'm sure you've played some of them, but if you have not, I wanted to at least give those a shout out.
Run, Roach.
Winds howling. The next one comes from Sam Harris on Twitter. He asked, do you guys think the Game Awards show is necessary? It was like every other award show, but the trailers were cool. Do you think it's necessary, Jacob?
No. I don't think it's necessary, but it's cool that we have it, I guess.
Yeah,
I like it to be more than it is, but
certainly.
I don't know. It's certainly cringy, but I'm glad we kind of have something as video gamers to watch, like a big award show.
I don't think, and when you really think about it, I don't think any award show is necessary, but I really appreciate and enjoy them.
I assume it's going to keep getting better and better, and they'll have more and more money each year to make it better. So.
I mean, games are bigger than ever, so the industry is just still growing rapidly, which is exciting, but the Game Awards itself, even E3, I don't think they'll ever escape cringe and awkwardness. Just think about the people that are doing this. I mean, I'm a total nerd myself. I've had plenty of awkward moments in my life. I just think this industry is always destined to be a little awkward because it's video games.
Yeah.
And I almost embrace the awkwardness of some stuff. Like, as silly and as dumb as some of the stuff might be, I just have come to embrace it because it's just kind of what it is. And I enjoy it. I thought it was a fun show. And I thought all the awards were totally warranted. So whoever was voting, I think, voted correctly, even though we predicted the wrong answers on most of them. Yeah. But
there'll always be cringe spammed in the comments.
Totally.
Every video show.
It is a lot like the other award shows in the sense that, you know, there's live performances and there's the winners and the trophies they hand out and everything. But I don't know what really they could do differently to separate themselves. I mean, just the fact that it's video games alone obviously separates itself from the other mediums like music and film and TV and everything. But
the idea is to make it more like those, right?
I think that is their goal, just to kind of fit in with those crowds, I guess. But I was taking a sip of my beverage. I thought you were going to say something.
No, I'm just listening to you drink.
I was just like... It's great water.
Yeah, it sounds nice, and the ice clinking on the cup.
Yes, but Sam, thank you for your question. I'd like to hear your thoughts on whether or not you think it's necessary. And since it is a lot like the other game shows, if you have an awesome idea that you think would separate it in a good way, let us know, because I'm not too creative when it comes to that kind of stuff. at least with award shows. I don't know what they could do differently, but I enjoy it for what it is. I had a fun time with it.
Another cringy moment was when Jeff Keighley was like insulting Kojima, or not Kojima,
praising Hideo.
Yeah, and just it looked like he wanted to kill Konami or something.
Yeah, he's almost acting like Hideo had been like tortured and killed.
Yeah, it looked
like
he was like praising him as a king or something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's funny because he went on and on about it last year, and then this year he acted like it was the second coming with Hideo Kojima.
Jeez, man, he's just a guy. I mean, he has great work, but he's up a little bit.
You got to wonder if they're actually as good as friends as he makes it out to be.
Yeah.
Like if Hideo's like talked to him off the cuff like one or two times. Like, Hideo, my best friend. I don't know.
Just like, I want to be the guy known to be Hideo's best friend.
Yeah.
That's going to be how I make it.
As funny as that is, I totally respect Jeff Keighley and everything that he does for the industry, because he always seems to really be the one with the passion behind not only promoting games, but awarding them and bringing attention to them. And he seems to be the forerunner of all that stuff. And he's been trying to do the Game Awards for a long time. And it's only gotten better every year. Like we said, the cringe is still there, but it's gotten better every year, which is awesome. And I really appreciate him being the one pulling that off, because if he's not going to do it, I don't know who will. But so shout out to Jeff Keighley. Next one comes from Gifty on Twitter. He says, do you think the Game Awards feel a bit unprofessional and weird regarding the weird artist, winner choices, and all the ads? We kind of have talked about this as we've gone on. Unprofessional, I think it was professional. I mean, everything ran smoothly. They didn't have any hiccups. I think the professional side of it was covered. It was a little silly. Weird, definitely. Hydrobot is a little weird. Jeff Keighley's obsession with Hideo Kojima is a little weird. But like I said, I think that's almost just what the industry is. It's kind of hard to avoid that, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely some weird artists. I enjoyed Doom. I know a lot of other people probably thought it was silly, but I thought it was cool. And I thought all the winner choices personally were, like we said, I thought they were solid.
Yes.
But the ads, I know they can't avoid those, but those were really dumb. Yeah, those were the dumbest part by far. What's next? PSX 2016, Jacob. We made it. Now, this event I was much more excited for. What about you? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your writing. Yeah, apologize. You're a great note taker.
What?
PSX 2016. Were you more excited about this than the Game Awards?
I guess. Yeah.
I definitely was.
I was expecting more than what was announced, but I'm okay with what was announced.
Me too. I thought it was an excellent conference in classic Sony fashion. I know people feel like, and myself included to an extent, that the Pro announcement was a very weak conference. But when you really think about it, it wasn't, because they did exactly what they needed to do. They just explained what the hardware was, got it out there, end of story, done. So I don't really think you can categorize that in the same conferences as, say, an E3 and PSX. If you cut out that middle conference and just went from E3 to PSX, they killed it.
It wasn't about games like the other ones are.
Right, which is totally makes sense. So if you just jump from E3 to PSX, they're just still killing it with their conferences, with all countless game announcements, which we're going to talk about all of them briefly. Now, a lot of them, I'll be honest, half of them I didn't even know what they were. A lot of them I knew what they were, I just don't have a history with them. Yeah. But we'll just rattle them off real quick. But there's two specifically that we'll talk about, and they both come from Naughty Dog. Uncharted 4 and, of course, Last of Us 2. We'll talk about Last of Us 2 last. But Uncharted 4, The Lost Legacy was announced for PS4, obviously. And this question comes from Ultima on Twitter. He asked, do you guys think that Uncharted 4, The Lost Legacy is a standalone game or an expansion to Uncharted 4? Ultima, I'm glad you asked, because I have a wonderful article that explains. Are you ready for this, Jacob?
Yes.
See if I can make it through professionally and reading like I actually went to elementary school. This one comes from Sean Escaig on the PlayStation blog. Quote, we spent the better part of the last 10 years on a journey with Nathan Drake, but as his story came to a close in Uncharted 4, we looked ahead to the series' first ever story DLC. We were faced with an unprecedented question. Whose story did we want to tell next? Over the years, we've assembled an incredible cast of characters, but of them all, we kept coming back to one in particular, Chloe Fraser. As a smooth-talking master thief who debuted in Uncharted 2, Chloe is not only one of our favorite characters, but we know she's a favorite amongst our community. She's also a strong character. In other words, perfect to be our lead protagonist in Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. We revealed the first look at Uncharted: The Lost Legacy at PlayStation Experience with nearly 9 minutes of gameplay. Check out the full clip below. That was a link. That's included in the article. Our video shows an early section of the game where you can find Chloe in a war-torn city on her way to a rooftop rendezvous with her partner Nadine Ross. Much like Chloe, Nadine Nadine is a formidable and interesting character whose complex nature we just started exploring in her Uncharted 4 debut. She's a skilled tactician whose cool, calculating nature offers an important contrast to Chloe's improvisation and wit. As they venture deep into India's Western Ghats mountain range, they'll need to work together to recover the long-lost tusk of Ganesh. When we began to plot out the story and our vision for the game, we realized we were building something more than an extension of Uncharted 4, and instead a standalone story in the Uncharted universe. We wanted this adventure to feature all of the hallmarks of the series, from cinematic storytelling set within exotic destinations to dynamic combat and intricate puzzles. It's our biggest story expansion to date and will be available as a standalone game on store shelves or for digital download. If you picked up the Uncharted 4 Digital Deluxe Edition or the Explorers Pack, you'll get Uncharted: The Lost Legacy as a download at launch. Both versions will only be available until December 13th, 2016, so don't miss your chance to get Uncharted 4 and Uncharted 4: The Lost Legacy at an amazing value. I goofed a bit there, but I made it through successfully.
Good job.
So Ultima, I hope that answers your question. It is indeed a standalone game. That's pretty cool. Now, I don't know if it'll be the length of Uncharted 4.
I wonder how long. My two biggest questions are how long is it going to be and how much is it going to be?
Now, you can beat an Uncharted 4 in under 6 hours because there's that trophy. So if it's at least 5 to 6 hours, I think that warrants a standalone game. At 4
I would
to
be
6,
fine with even just 2 or 3, to be honest, as long as it's not too much money.
I can live with that for sure, but I almost feel like this will probably be between 4 and 6 hours. But I think that's cool.
I think it'll be $20.
You think?
Yeah, maybe 30.
I'm going to guess 40. I'm going to call
$40.
40, yep. Especially since it's going to be on store shelves
If it's
as well.
going to be 40, then it's got to be a good package.
I think it will be. I like Chloe a lot in Uncharted 2. I'd like to explore her a bit more. Nadine,
I have always been fascinated with Chloe.
Yeah.
And I had no idea that them two had a history.
Me neither. That's what's really cool.
Did anyone know this?
I don't know if they did. Now, Nadine was... I know I've heard people argue that if you removed Nadine from Uncharted 4, virtually nothing changes. I mean, she beats up Nate and Sam a few times, but other than that, she doesn't really serve the story.
She makes building built on the tree. Well, spoilers.
Yeah. That was an amazing set piece in that game.
Yeah.
But I thought Nadine, although she didn't serve the story very much, I thought she was a very interesting character. I thought it was cool how she was very tough and she could hold her own in a fight. So I'm interested to see how she contrasts with Chloe, like they say in the article, and what story they experience. And is it the India's Western Ghats mountain range? Well, they'll need to work together to recover the long-lost tusk of Ganesh. Wow. That's pretty cool. Ultima, thank you for your question. I hope that answers it for you. I'm excited about it. It was a really cool gameplay reveal. Pretty laid back for the most part, but it was
a little
exciting.
long.
It was. A lot of walking involved. But she interacted with some scary goons and made her way through a pretty city to the rooftop to meet Nadine. Got a lot in store for us, Jacob. I'm excited for Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. The next one was... Now, like I said, a lot of these I have no idea what they are, so we're just going to rattle them off.
Okay.
Next Machina is the new PS4 game from Resogun developer Housemarque and arcade veteran Eugene Jarvis.
You remind me, do you remember what this game is? Because I recognize the name, but I forgot what it was.
I have vague flashes of it in my mind.
Okay. That's not good.
It's fine. Like I said, half of these I didn't know what they were. It was just cool that they announced them.
I just remember seeing that gameplay and liking it, then seeing the name at the end of the trailer. So
yeah. Brand new footage shows off PS4 exclusive Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm glad they didn't do another demo. Like we were hoping that they wouldn't. I think this tiny little trailer was fine.
I'm kind of done just seeing stuff about it. I just want to play it.
Exactly. We just want to play it. But that's pretty cool. Wipeout Omega Collection was announced for PS4. Did you ever play Wipeout?
No.
I've played that somewhere before. I can't remember where it was. Not a lot, but just a little bit.
Yeah.
I highly doubt I'll play it now, but that's pretty cool. Capcom announces 2v2 fighter sequel Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite for PS4.
The crowd went insane when this was announced.
Yeah, coming out 2017.
Watching,
I was, yeah. No, that's really cool. I never played Marvel vs. Capcom, but I know it's super popular.
It's cool, yeah.
I love all the characters. I was hoping we'd see Spider-Man in it. Yeah. And I'm wondering if they'll go with Tom Holland's look from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or if they'll go for... because this is a PS4 exclusive, so I'm wondering if they'll go with Spider-Man's look from Insomniac Spider-Man. Or maybe it'll be a costume you can change him into.
I don't know.
I feel like they will do that just to promote that new Spider-Man more too. Makes sense to me. But that's really cool. Check out this is from an article, so it's written kind of weird. But it says, check out the new trailer from PS4 exclusive Neo. Definitely going to play that. I don't know if I'll play it at launch, but I definitely want to play it. I loved what I played in the beta.
That Neo trailer was cool.
It was.
I'm excited for. I kind of want to play it now.
Dude, the
Just
beta
coming out at a weird time.
The beta was so good.
Mm-hmm.
I love the beta. So especially if you even slightly like Dark Souls and Bloodborne, you should totally give it a shot.
Did you catch the Linkin Park and Jay-Z song at the Titanfall 2 trailer at the Game Awards show?
No.
Yeah, there was a Linkin Park Jay-Z song in the over a Titanfall 2 trailer.
Was it a cool thing?
Yeah, it was cool. Like
Nice.
all the comments were like, "Linkin Park, what the fuck?" It's just 10 years ago.
Wow, that's funny.
It was funny.
No, I didn't catch that.
I just wasn't expecting it. So
That's cool.
as a Linkin Park fan, I liked it.
Yeah, you're wearing your Linkin Park jacket right now / hoodie.
Yes,
LP.
it's a little faded. I've had it for a long time.
Favorite Linkin Park song on go after 3. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, go. You're going to name your favorite Linkin Park song. All right, you ready?
That's so tough.
Or you're just going to do it. Don't even think about it.
All right.
1, 2, 3, A Place for My
Bleed
Head.
it out.
Is it A Place for My Head or A Place for Your Head?
A place for my head.
Yeah, I love that song,
That's a
dude.
good song.
Off of Hybrid Theory. That's their debut album, isn't it?
Yes.
That song, you know where I first heard that song?
Where?
It was an EA skateboarding game. That was
yeah.
It wasn't Tony Hawk, it was a skateboarding game that I played, and that was the opening song to the game. I thought it was so awesome. And it's funny because Linkin Park isn't necessarily a heavy band, but that's one of their heaviest songs to me is A Place for My Head.
They have heavier stuff off their last album, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, my favorite song is "Leave Out All the Rest," and it's one of their softer songs.
Leave out all the rest.
I like the lyrics.
Leave
of that
out
song.
all the rest. That's how it goes, right?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay, nailed it.
Yeah, I love the words in that song. The lyrics, as some would call them.
Right. Yeah, I think Linkin Park's a good band. I've never seen them. You've seen them live a bunch, haven't you?
3 times.
Okay. Yeah, the band I've seen most live is my favorite band, The Ghost Inside. Moving on, the next one was the new trailer shows off Gravity Rush 2's planned single-player expansion with that other character. We haven't played Gravity Rush, but fans were excited because apparently they've been demanding to play as her for a while. That's pretty cool. Now, this is funny. I have a funny story about this. Parappa the Rapper, Patapon, and Loco Roco PS4 remasters coming in 2017. I've played Parappa the Rapper on a PlayStation 1 demo disc that I got from Pizza Hut as a kid.
Pizza Hut.
I'm not even kidding. It was a Pizza Hut demo disc, and Parappa the Rapper was on there. And I had no idea what I was doing when I played it, but I messed around with it on that demo disc on PlayStation 1 back in the day. So it's funny because I've never really played the game, but it was still a nostalgia rush for me because I remember being a little kid playing that demo disc, and that was on there.
Yeah.
I've never played Patapon or Loco Roco, but I've heard they're great.
I've heard of all these games. I've never played any of them.
Right.
So.
Oh, look who's here. It's my squirrel girlfriend. It's good to see you.
Hello.
The next one is Knack 2. Let's be honest, this is the biggest reveal of the show.
Yeah.
And I know everyone's losing their minds to play this.
I thought it looked kind of cool.
Well, it does. I thought Knack 1 looked cool. I just never played it.
I don't know. It just looks interesting.
Mhm.
Gave me that Ratchet and Clank vibe.
Yeah, I gotcha. Do you think you'll play it?
After I look at the good reviews.
After the good reviews,
Yes.
the inevitable good reviews.
I
Now,
do think it's going to be a good game.
let's be
I
honest.
think they're going to correct their mistakes.
All the games we've discussed so far, none of them will ever live up to Thief.
Right.
Ever. It's
No.
impossible.
So it's hard to play anything but Thief, to be honest. So it's going to have to be really good to pull me away from that.
Right. I mean, I lied about working this week. I wasn't working. I was playing Thief
I had a feeling.
nonstop. And then when I felt like I'm loving this too much, I'm afraid of how much I love this game. So I'm going to take a break in Final Fantasy.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one playing it.
Yeah,
This week.
and then come back to it. So nothing will ever live up to Thief. Let's just put that on the table now. Next one was Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy rebuilds the PS1 classics for a unique PS4 remaster package. What do you think of the remaster footage?
What? Which game were we talking about?
The Insane Collection for Crash Bandicoot.
It looks cool. I've never played Crash, so except on the Uncharted 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think everyone's played Crash at this point because a lot of people played Uncharted 4.
Yeah.
But I played very briefly the original Crash Bandicoot on PlayStation 1 as a kid and never finished it because I sucked at it as a kid.
The franchise has never excited me.
Me neither. But that's cool that they're remastering it for fans. That's pretty exciting. And for the final Resident Evil 7 Biohazard demo update was out the day of PSX. It's out now. Plus a new trailer is out. But you can play the new demo in VR. I imagine we'll do a Let's Play.
That's big news.
I only have one concern about this. Now, I haven't played the demo yet in VR, so I don't know what it'll be like. But I've played Lara Croft's Croft Manor VR experience at Preston's house in VR, and you can play in 2 minutes. You can play in I think it's called like safe mode or something mode where it doesn't make you sick to your stomach, because it warns you if you play in the free mode, you will get sick. It's impossible not to get sick. And the free mode is where you literally play it like you would play the game in first person, where you can move with the left stick, you can turn your body with the right stick, but you can move your head in the VR helmet, and it instantly made me sick. Like the second I started doing it, it made me sick. But safe mode, you literally just look in a direction, kind of like in Batman, you click and it takes you to that area. Now, in Resident Evil 7, what we've seen from the gameplay, which I want to ask you about, have you seen the gameplay that was actually coming out before PSX, where very similar to the original like we had hoped, there's various puzzles to solve, you're in this big open mansion of these crazy people, and this is horrifying to me. So you're trying to find your way through the mansion to obviously get out. I think you're looking for your wife, too. So you're looking for your wife.
Isn't that the point of the game?
To find your wife?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. But the main goal is your wife, but at first you're really just trying to find your way through the mansion. It's a bunch of locked doors and puzzles. You have to figure out where to find certain items to open certain doors. But the most horrifying part is this crazy guy with a shovel is just looking for you the whole time. And you can hear him in other rooms. You can hear him upstairs. You can be hiding behind something. He'll come into the room looking for you and just try to find you. And if he finds you, he'll chase you and try to kill you. You just have to run for your life to get away. I know you can get a weapon at some point, and it's cool that there's the one area where he's there trying to find you. There's another area where this crazy old lady with like a lantern's looking for you. And apparently the gameplay styles are entirely different, the way they react to you. Yeah. But it just looks super interesting, totally different from Resident Evil 6, especially when me and Preston were playing it a couple months ago. To see this demo now, I'm like, wow, that's so different. Very exciting. Like I said, if the demo plays in VR like it does in Lara Croft, then I won't be able to do it in VR.
Well, they claim that it's going to be a lot like Resident Evil and like how it has always been with like guns and stuff. So.
Yeah, I've seen a screenshot of someone with a pistol, and apparently if you shoot the old guy, he just laughs at you, so you can't kill him. So
now, I've heard you can kill him, but he doesn't die. Like he'll come back.
Oh, like he'll fall over, but he'll come back. Yeah, that makes sense. So you can get away from him. Yeah. But yeah, that I think the demo looks exciting. I haven't played it yet, so maybe we'll do a let's play.
I'm
this week.
probably not going to get the game. I just don't do scary games.
I feel you. So you can at least sit alongside me for fun.
I'd like to see you guys play it for sure.
Definitely. The next one was the surreal futuristic action game Let It Die, is available now on PS4. Have you seen gameplay for this?
I don't know.
I don't remember
what it is.
I watched about 30 minutes of gameplay. I don't know how to describe it, but one of the characters' name is Uncle Death. It's literally the Grim Reaper with the crazy glasses and the skateboard.
Looked interesting.
Yeah, it looks okay. I've heard people saying it's like a goofy Dark Souls, sort of.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Okay. It kind of looked like that, but I think that's free, if I'm not mistaken. I looked on the PlayStation Store, unless I'm just crazy.
You might want to clarify that before you start spitting out free.
Don't quote me on that, but I could have sworn when I looked on the PlayStation Store it was free. But like I said, don't quote me. Destiny's 2016 festive season kicks off with a new event, The Dawning, starting on the 13th of December. You going to dabble in that, Jacob?
Sure, yeah. Sparrow Racing League is coming back for, I guess, a month? I don't know how long it is. It's from the 13th to like first week of January.
All right.
If there's going to be timed strikes, which is, I guess people have been asking for that. There's going to be a couple new exotics.
You can rack up your scores now too and compete with your friends, correct?
Right. It's like speed runs, basically.
Now, what do you get? Do you know what you get out of that? Say you win.
I don't know.
It'd be cool if you got like a guaranteed, the winner gets like a guaranteed legendary exotic or something.
Yeah. Well, how would you keep track of that?
What do you mean?
Like, how would you compete with your friends?
Like,
you need 3 people to run a strike.
Right. If you're all racking, whoever gets the highest score in the strike, at the end, whoever has the highest score, like you're guaranteed to get a legendary drop.
Oh, okay. But I don't know, because you're just trying to finish it quickly, and you're working together as a team. So when you all get the same time,
is it all just a speed run, or is it just like does it also rack up for like kills?
I think you get points and stuff, but I don't know how it works.
I think it'd be interesting to make it like competitive, where at the same time
they kind of have something like that in Challenge of Elders. It's like a harder version of Prison of Elders.
Yeah.
You know what Prison of Elders is, right?
Yeah.
Where you you use grenades to kill things and you get more points for it, but that's not really exciting.
Yeah. What I'm thinking of, I think it would almost discourage teamwork, because if I'm thinking like, oh, you'll do a strike, but you're competing against the people you're playing with, it'd almost be like you'd be fighting to whoever could get the most kills, but you wouldn't be really teamwork at that point, so it's probably a bad idea.
I've never been into like speedrunning things, so. But I think the things that people are most excited about are the Sparrow Racing League coming back. There's going to be new quests this time around, and the event actually has a name now, The Dawning. It's an actual Christmas event this time.
Yes.
And there's going to be 2 new exotics. Well, 3 technically. Icebreaker's coming back with new ornaments, so it'll look different. And Thunderlord's getting to other elemental variants, so there'll be a Fire Lord and a Void Lord.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you're on top of the Destiny stuff.
But yeah, I try to be. I'm not playing it right now, but I'll come back and do some Sparrow racing.
Cool. That's good to know, because I was going to say to any community members that are on PS4 who really like Destiny, Jacob will be on. I won't be. I uninstalled it from my PS4 after Rise of Iron. I'm done with Destiny. I really liked the game a lot. I just don't like it enough to continue playing. Yeah. Super pumped for the sequel, don't get me wrong, but if you want to play Destiny, Jacob will be on. So he's your man. Lost in the Echo on PSN. Go for it. Next one was Friendship Ruining Party Game Move or Die was announced for PS4. I think it's funny, Friendship Ruining Party Game. There are many of those, Mario Party being one of them. Nier Automata? Is that how you pronounce it? Automata? That's how I'd pronounce it. Automata release date and demo announced. I don't know. That's one of the games I wasn't sure what it was. That's pretty cool. Introducing the new Griffey-inspired retro mode for MLB The Show 17. You ever played an MLB The Show game?
No.
Are you still into baseball enough to try one of those?
No.
Okay, neither am I. I went through that phase as a child where I played t-ball, and what did they call baseball after t-ball? It wasn't baseball yet. It was called like foosball or something. But
foosball?
It wasn't foosball. It was called, do you know what it was called, Casey?
I think it's just t-ball, then rec ball?
I don't know. It was a weird name. It started with an F. I can't remember. But I played baseball as a kid. I played for the Cubs, played for the Devil Rays. I think that's the only 2 teams I played as.
Those are professional clubs.
You want to hear a story of defiance, Jacob? This is hilarious. So I had team pictures one day, and my father was one of the, I think he was like the assistant coach of my t-ball team. And I played for the Devil Rays, and our instructions were to wear our purple jerseys, purple hats, and gray baseball pants. For some reason, I hated gray baseball pants. Now, looking back on it, I think gray looks awesome. Back in the day, I hated them. I always wore my white pants. I refused to wear the gray ones. And of course, they got filthy, but I think the reason why I like the white ones is because on Super Nintendo, I played an MLB game where the character on the box wore white pants, and I wanted to look like that character. Okay. So in our picture day, my dad begged me for hours before the picture. He's like, you got to put on your gray pants, son. You got to put on your gray pants. That's what you're supposed to wear. Everyone's wearing their gray pants. And I said, no. And it sounds like I'm a terrible kid and I defied my parents. But I think at the end of the day, I don't think my dad cared that much. It's just a stupid t-ball picture. But he let me wear my white pants. I still have the picture to this day. A sea of gray, and you just see me in the middle, bright white pants. I'm like, that's the star of the team for sure.
Were you the star?
No. Have I ever told the story about when I caught the fly ball? And it was it's a really inspirational story. I called a story of what's the word I used to describe it?
Redemption.
A story of not perseverance.
Of great sacrifice.
Not sacrifice. Really a story just about believing in yourself. Have I ever shared this story before?
I don't know.
I'm going to share it just in case no one's heard it, because I know this seems silly about a kid playing t-ball, but I think this can be really inspirational to people.
Here we go.
It's brief. Well, I was playing for the Devil Rays and wearing my white pants, of course. Now, my position was shortstop. Oh. Now, for those that don't know,
I played quite a bit of shortstop.
I think it's my favorite position in baseball, honestly.
It gets the most action.
That's why I liked it so much. And funny, because I didn't get much action when playing t-ball specifically. Just the sport. But I played shortstop, and all of my teammates would always get the game ball. Game after game after game, someone else would get the game ball for doing something awesome. And I never got the game ball, and I always wanted one. And I had this issue as a child where I was convinced I would never get that game ball. So it just so happens one Saturday afternoon, playing some t-ball, I'm sitting at shortstop, have my hands on my knees ready for this player to hit the ball off the tee. So I'm sitting there, and I remember this like it was yesterday. This is 100% true story. I'm not exaggerating any of this. I distinctly remember thinking in my mind, even if by some miracle this kid hit a pop fly straight to me, there is no way I'd be able to catch it. That's the exact thought that went through my head. Moments later, Jacob, ping, with his metal baseball bat, that ball flies sky high in my direction. And there's a place in my mind where I'm like, is this coming to me? And I didn't even have time to think. I just had to accept my destiny. Yep. I saw it coming. I just put my glove in the air, and it was like a movie moment. Sunlight coming through. I just feel something land in my glove, and like the dirt that I've been playing in moments ago, and the weeds just poof through my glove. And I'm like, and everyone starts screaming, and I'm just standing there frozen with fear. And I finally looked down at my glove, and there's the baseball the kid had hit off the tee. And I remember like being so emotional in that moment that I didn't know what to do because I looked around and everyone's like freaking out and like, you God, like,
you finally did something.
When a little kid catches a pop fly when he's not actually playing in the weeds like I normally did, people are really excited about it. And I ended up winning the game ball. My whole team signed it, and I still have that game ball today. It's in my
team signed it.
Yeah, they did. That's what we all did at the game ball. We'd all sign it, but it's in my closet or my parents' closet somewhere. But I still have that ball, and I think that's just an inspirational story that never underestimate yourself in anything that you do, no matter what it is. And I learned from that moment. I always reflect on that. I know I was a little kid, but that's inspirational to anyone, that just always believe in yourself, because you'll surprise yourself in the things you can accomplish if you just believe and accept your destiny.
Thank you for the story, Garrett.
When you see that ball coming towards you, just put your glove up in the air and believe in yourself.
Sometimes it'll fall in.
Sometimes it'll land right in your glove.
You got to believe that you'll catch it.
Amen, brother.
I actually have my first hit and my first home run still in they have cages for them.
That's awesome.
Little, like plastic plaques.
Yeah, that's my game ball is one of those plastic boxes.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Jacob.
Yeah.
Baseball, man.
Yeah.
Great sport that I don't enjoy watching anymore.
Yeah, I played that all through high school. I didn't play for the school. I just played recreation.
I remember me and Zach went to one of your rec games one time.
Oh, yeah? Mm-hmm. Did I do well?
You did, yeah. I think you hit a ball in
You hit the ball.
Yeah, you hit the baseball and you ran around the bases. No, you actually you hit it into the outfield and you made it all. You eventually scored a run, but you made it all. I think you made it to second off your hit, and you eventually made
double.
Yeah,
gotcha. So
you killed it, Jacob. Yeah. And that booty and them baseball pants, let me tell you, if you think Jacob looks good from the waist up, you should see him from the waist down. It's a real treat. Moving on, the next one was beautiful new trailer for Ni no Kuni 2. Revenant Kingdom debuts at PSX. I haven't played Ni no Kuni 2, but I've heard Colin Moriarty say it's just a phenomenal gaming experience. Yep. I will say, the trailer looked really cool.
It did.
Very Japanese.
Yeah,
but
very, what was it, cat ears or bunny ears or something?
Yeah, a lot of that typical Japanese JRPG.
That kind of thing's always
stuff.
weirded me out a little bit. Like, why does a human have cat ears?
Why not, Jacob?
I don't know.
They claim that Hello Kitty's an actual girl and not a cat.
That's weird.
Do you accept that in your mind? Because
No.
I don't.
No.
That's a kitty.
She's a kitty.
It's like saying Scooby-Doo's a man.
You can't just say a cat's a human.
Yeah. Well, they do, Jacob. You better accept it and move on. The next one is head-to-head versus mode comes to Pyre, the new RPG from the Bastion team. Don't know much about that one. Pyre, the trailer looked pretty cool. It was different. Losing myself, Jacob. I'm losing my mind. Domesticate dinosaurs and grow your settlements in PSVR title Dino Frontier. I like dinosaurs. I'd love to domesticate some in virtual reality. Can you imagine in VR looking up at a big long neck? How exciting would that be?
That would be cool.
I was literally just envisioning what's the long neck's name in Littlefoot? Is it Littlefoot in Land Before Time?
Yes.
What do they call the leaves?
What do they call the leaves?
The leaves that they call them something specific. They really love
in
those.
that movie?
Like 4 stars or something? 3 stars?
I don't know.
Do you know, Casey, the name of the leaves they eat? I always wanted to eat leaves because of those dinosaurs eating those special leaves in the TV show.
Do we need to mention all these tiny games?
I'm just running. I'll run through them a little quicker now. We've been getting sidetracked. I apologize. Windjammers returns to PS4 and PS Vita with online multiplayer. Yakuza Kiwami, a remake of the original PS2 classic, coming to PS4. Mysterious third-person adventure Vane was announced. Conduct Titanic tactical team-driven battles in space with Dreadnought, coming to PS4.
See, I've heard of Dreadnought before.
Me too. I watched a brief, I think it was a brief demo of
One thing about Dreadnought, it was a very choppy trailer. Did you notice that?
It was. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's indicative of the gameplay that it offers.
I don't know. We don't know. The world may never know.
I'm not going to give it a shot either. So.
Me neither. One War, 2 unique perspectives with action RPG Fallen Legion comes to PS4 and PS Vita with 2 different tales. I think it's cool that a lot of these games were also announced for Vita.
Yeah.
I don't play my Vita much anymore, but that is really cool that they're still supporting.
Of course, he was holding up his Vita every time.
Yes. I liked the
also
color on that thing, too.
Vita.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Team up with friends to achieve victory in PS4 top-down arena shooter Games of Glory, coming out in 2017. Jacob, that brings us to the most exciting part of the event, the surprise trailer for The Last of Us Part 2. I got a lot of details, but initial thoughts from you, sir. What'd you think? I almost caught our notes on fire.
You almost paper cut me.
Can you imagine if I caught our notes on fire and like burned the house to the ground? It was all caught on camera. That'd probably be the most exciting episode of a podcast anyone's ever seen. Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
Guys do shitty video game podcasts. House burns down at the end. Last of Us 2, Part 2. Excuse me. It had me fooled at the beginning. For some reason, I was expecting Destiny 2 to get announced or just like teased at this event. And I saw the forest. I started thinking like European Dead Zone. Then I saw a rusted car. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This is Destiny.
I thought it was Destiny.
But it quickly, that went away when I saw like the wooden house or whatever in the forest. I was like.
And the Firefly emblem.
Right. Yeah, the Firefly emblem definitely gave it away that it was Last of Us. I was like, oh my God, it's actually happening.
Yeah.
I didn't expect them to announce it here. I kept saying that I thought it was going to be at E3 next year. But looks good. Initially, when you see like this dead hand on the floor, I thought maybe that was Joel's hand.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that happens to him at some point in the game. I don't know.
Maybe.
But, because I heard some theory that was saying like maybe she's imagining him there or something, which would be interesting if like he dies somehow, but she's like pretending that he's still there throughout the game.
Yeah. Initial thoughts for me.
But I wasn't done.
Oh, okay, good. I want to hear more from you.
I actually thought it was Joel at first playing the guitar. I didn't expect that to be her because you don't usually associate. I don't know. It looked like a masculine hand to me. So.
Okay, I thought it looked like a feminine hand.
No, well, I only watched it once, so.
You need to do some research on some hands, Jacob.
I guess
you might lose yours next week. Keep that in mind.
Well, at this point, I was probably still thinking, I was like, oh, it's Destiny 2, maybe.
Is this a Guardian?
Is there a new guitar class?
Is The Last of Us in the Destiny universe?
But yeah.
Okay. Is that all your initial thoughts?
I guess. Cool little guitar tune.
Yes.
There was some classic lines with Joel and Ellie conversing back and forth towards the end.
Certainly.
Ellie seems very angry
at
someone. I wonder what angered her.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, going back to the Joel being dead theory, did Joel die and she's going to get revenge maybe?
Right,
I don't know.
Possibly.
I don't know what to expect. We just had a little tease, but I'm definitely excited. At the very least.
Mm-hmm. So initial thoughts from me. I think it's cool that I think it was Nerd Much that I saw do this first. Another shout out to Nerd Much. I'm sure other people said this as well, but they were the first I saw that said at the very last minute, they're like pretty confident there's going to be a Last of Us 2 reveal. And I'm assuming there was a slip somewhere in the industry because other people have saying, kind of funny, for example, there's a podcast that I keep up with pretty regularly. And apparently, I didn't listen to this episode, but in their latest episode of PS I Love You, which is their PlayStation podcast, they predicted what they were going to see at PSX, and they didn't make one single mention of Last of Us. I don't even think they muttered the words The Last of Us.
Yeah, they didn't.
And people have been saying that they probably knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
So that's probably the case. But I think as soon as... Even, I always forget the guy's name who was on stage. He's like, we have one more announcement, and it's early in development. And as soon as he said that, I'm like, it's The Last of Us. It has to be. Which is cool that Naughty Dog opened the show and closed the show. It just shows the power of Naughty Dog. But as soon as they showed the forest, I knew it was The Last of Us, even before the Firefly emblem. But that was very exciting to see, and I always love watching debut trailers like this and just have the crowd go nuts at every little thing is always exciting.
You want to know what I thought when he said this is very early in development?
What?
Spider-Man.
I was hoping that would be it too. Yeah, I was hoping so badly they just show us like 10 seconds of something from Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. That's okay. I have faith in Insomniac regardless. We'll no doubt see something at E3 for it.
But I guess it would make sense because Spider-Man's been worked on for a little while. So you all right?
That was a massive burp. Yeah, I'm good.
Just let it out. Don't be scared to just belch.
It wasn't a powerful burp. It was. It was a hefty one, but it wasn't
struggling
powerful.
to come up.
I didn't have to project it. It was just...
I know what kind of burp you're talking about.
Right. So, obviously, Ellie starts playing the guitar, and there's a few little tidbits I want to talk about. This is really cool. So, details that we do know. Did you watch the Last of Us Part 2 panel afterwards?
No. I had to take care of things.
Okay.
I had to hang up Christmas lights, actually.
I watched it in between work stuff today, and... it was awesome. Now, little details just about game facts before we get to the other stuff. Ellie is 19 years old now. So I think I think she was 14 in the first game, so this is like 5 years later.
She's
19,
definitely older.
She is the main protagonist now. We play as Ellie.
Oh,
Joel is the supporting character, which I think is also very cool. And as we know, she plays a song by Sean James and the Shapeshifters called Through the Valley. And I've downloaded that entire album and I've been listening to that song on repeat all day because it's beautiful. I love the song and the trailer. And the coolest part about this specifically, here's another fact about this. This trailer specifically was shot over a year and a half ago. So they did this forever ago.
Oh, wow.
And they knew they were going to do a sequel shortly after Last of Us 1, they just weren't sure on what they wanted to do. Neil Druckmann said he tried experimenting with various stories involving brand new characters, and it just never quite clicked for him, and he finally came to the realization that The Last of Us is about Joel and Ellie strictly. It is their story. And he says they finally decided on the perfect story to tell. And I knowing Naughty Dog, I knew they would do this regardless without even having to say it. They said they would never do a sequel unless they were confident that the story they had to tell was just going to be incredible.
Yeah.
And Neil, Ashley Johnson, and Troy Baker were all on stage, and they all said, "We love these characters. I promise you, we love them even more than you do. They're so near and dear to our heart. We promise you just to trust us on this. Like, we have the ultimate story to tell, and we will not let you down," is what they said. They're very confident in it, and they're very excited about it. And they said they were all treading lightly, of course, because they don't want to spoil anything. So they didn't have much to say other than Ellie's 19. She's the main protagonist. And The Last of Us 1 dealt with a relationship of love, and it was all about love in the end. And now this one is all about hate. It's the opposite of that. So big contrast there, and you can see that the hate in Ellie's eyes, whatever she's upset about when she's singing that tune. And it was just awesome to hear Joel them just talking to each other again.
Yeah.
When she says, "I'm going to find and I'm going to kill every last one of them." Very powerful word.
We don't know who them
upset.
is. So.
And it looks like, and this is pretty obvious, a lot of people say this, but it looks like all of those dead bodies are fresh, and she's covered in blood, and blood streaming down her face while she's playing the guitar. So she probably slaughtered all these people inside this house, and you got to wonder why. Now,
Joel didn't stop her.
Right. And he comes in like, I think he says,
"What are you doing, kiddo?"
Yeah, "What are you doing, kiddo? Are you really going to go through with this?" is what he says. So clearly she has a mission in mind. And speaking of the song specifically, I think this is so cool because Neil sent her this song before they shot the trailer and said, "Hey, I want you to play this song in the trailer." And of course, she was all nervous about it because I don't think she traditionally plays music. But apparently, when she sent her first video back to Naughty Dog of her playing the song, it was so good that they wanted to intentionally make it worse, which I could tell in the trailer that they totally did this on purpose, which I love. This just shows like the artist behind it making all these decisions, because Ellie lives in the apocalypse, and Joel, her father figure, clearly teaches her how to play guitar like he promised her in the first game, and she's learned. But I love how she's not totally hitting all the notes in her voice, but it sounds like she's a decent guitar / singer. I know that's such a random weird thing, but that little detail, I love the fact that it's not like she's a super skilled musician, but I just like the rough version of that song. Exactly. I thought they actually hired a vocal coach to teach Ashley to sing worse, but it not seem like she was obviously trying to, but it just make it seem natural.
Interesting skill to have.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
going to teach you to sing not so good.
Yeah, it takes an expert to teach someone how to sing worse than they actually are. So I thought that was very interesting. They also talked about... Are you okay over there?
Yeah. Okay. I've had some allergy problems the last couple of days. So.
As of you want to hear something
the
hilarious?
The weather changing, I think.
Now, I'm not straight up making fun of Forrest Whitaker, Casey, is that the guy? Yeah. So I woke up the other morning with one of my eyelids that couldn't stay open all the way, and I was freaking out because I looked like Forrest Whitaker. I was like, what's happening to me? Did I have a stroke in my sleep? And my eye couldn't stay open. I was freaking out about it. My mom was like, don't worry about it. My mom's a nurse. She's like, don't worry about it. Your father had the same issue. He's like, you can get these weird cold bugs that your eye will swell up for some reason. So I looked like an insane person for 15 minutes. So I was freaking out. I had to put drops in my eyes, and I had to do it. I'm still having to do it, but I had to do it for a couple days before my eye would open up all the way again. Wow. So I was freaking out. Thankfully, I'm back. Do my eyes look normal to you right now?
Yeah, they look fine.
Okay, thankfully I'm back to normal, but I had a brief freak out when I woke up for work that morning.
Whenever you go to bed with sinuses, do you sometimes wake up and one of your ears feels like it's plugged?
Yes.
That's the worst feeling. Mm-hmm. That's what happened to me Saturday morning.
It's the worst. I can relate totally, Jacob.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty funny. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, the motion capture. So apparently Sony helped Naughty Dog acquire the best motion capture technology that exists in the world today, and they did a 1v1 comparison of Ashley Johnson's face on camera with the motion capture dots all over it, and then the rendition of her in the game. It is unbelievable the level of detail they can get in just every aspect, the mouth, the eyes. They said they never did close-up of eyes either in Uncharted 4 or Last of Us because you could never quite get that realistic feel because just the motion capture technology wasn't there. But with this, you get every minute detail. So they said is the best motion capture you'll ever see in any game when this game comes out. Exactly. That's thrilling to me, and it's got to be thrilling as actors too, because originally video games were just literally, I mean, they still do this today, but traditionally just voice actors in a booth recording stuff. But a lot of these games now are all motion captures. So these people are literally acting out all these scenes just in these fancy costumes to capture it all. That's going to be really exciting for voice actors, especially for Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson to return to these characters that are so beloved and so renowned for this amazing story they told. And they said it was like such an amazing feeling jumping back into these characters. And this is awesome too. Troy Baker said that he was waiting to audition for this game, and he was super nervous because every other guy in the room that was auditioning for it looked like Joel. They were all graying and they were older, all auditioning. So he said he felt, even though he's a very talented, successful voice actor, he said he was very nervous about the audition, and he was heavily considering just leaving. He's like, there's no chance, and there's no way I'm going to compete with these guys. And he said he was walking out the door, like he was just leaving, and they called his name to come in and audition, and then he went in and auditioned for it. Can you believe that? I thought that's amazing. Can you imagine?
Might be a little beefed up to make it sound better.
Maybe,
but still, yeah,
but think about my T-ball story. That's a true story, and that seems a little wild.
I'll never know if it's true.
I swear on my life it's true, but
that's the advantage of telling a story. You can tell it however you want.
Yeah, well, I always like to tell them for real because there's nothing exciting to me about beefing up a real story.
Right.
To me, personally.
If that's true, that's insane.
If people's stories suck, then by all means beef them up. But mine are real life experiences that I like sharing with people. But I trust Troy. I like to think I can trust Troy Baker. I don't know the man, but if that is the case, that's astounding to me to think that he could have just walked out. We could have an entirely different Joel.
Yeah.
And to think about the chemistry that Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson have as those characters is so powerful. I can't imagine them acting with anyone else as those specific characters. So I'm glad we got what we got. But that being said, what do you think about the title, The Last of Us Part 2?
I love it.
Me too,
I'm glad
man.
it's not just 2.
Yeah, it's funny. We thought of all kinds of weird titles they could have done. We're like, oh, they shouldn't do 2. It sounds kind of weird for that style of game and that story. But we never thought of Part 2, like The Godfather Part 2. It just makes sense and totally fits. I think that's the ultimate title for it.
Yeah.
So, great title. The trailer was awesome. I love the song. Like I said, I've had it on repeat. Again, if anyone's wondering what that song is, if you also enjoy it, it's by Sean James. That's SHAWN, and the song's called Through the Valley. Been jamming to it all day. It's really good. But yeah, super excited about that. I will add this little extra tidbit now. This is another discussion to have, Jacob. And I don't know if we should be concerned or not, but this is very interesting. So this one comes from Jason Schreier of Kotaku. Quote, Bruce Straley, who co-directed The Last of Us and Uncharted 4, will not have the same role on Last of Us 2, sources tell Kotaku. His longtime creative partner, Neil Druckmann, is directing the game. And this is from Naughty Dog. It says, Bruce has recently decided to take some much-deserved time off after shipping 2 critically acclaimed games in the last few years. He's looking forward to returning to the studio soon and jumping back in on his next project. Straley, who has been at Naughty Dog for nearly 2 decades, had previously directed The Last of Us alongside Druckmann. In early 2014, the pair took over Uncharted 4 after longtime director Amy Hennig left Naughty Dog. Although Straley doesn't receive as much public exposure as his longtime partner, he played a pivotal role in the creation of Naughty Dog's 2 most recent games. He was also an art director on the first Uncharted game and game director on Uncharted 2. So he's on an extended leave, and he's going to be working on a different Uncharted title when he comes back. But I think that's interesting.
Different Uncharted title?
Potentially, I don't know.
Is that what you said?
No, it doesn't say anything specific. He worked on Uncharted 4 and The Last of Us with Neil Druckmann.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think there's any cause to be concerned, although both of those games are exciting. And the fact that they co-directed them says a lot because both those games are great. But whenever I see behind the scenes, it's always Druckmann talking to the actors, literally every time. So he seems to be the one that really has all the big ideas in mind when it comes to directing the actors.
Maybe they just have different,
different
focus
roles.
on different things, yeah. And he's just more, maybe it's on the side of technical things.
He could be,
I
yeah.
don't know.
But I do think that's interesting that he's not returning, so Neil Druckmann's running the show. But Neil Druckmann has proven to be a phenomenal director in everything that he's done thus far. Granted, he has had a co-director. I don't know.
I don't doubt that him leaving... I don't doubt that he was important to the 2 games, but I think Neil will be able to do it just fine.
Yeah, I believe the same, Jacob. And I thought that was pretty exciting. But is there anything else from PSX that stood out to you that you want to discuss?
Not really, no.
Okay,
we covered the 2 biggest things.
Absolutely. Well, Jacob, that brings us to a tidbit of movie news. There's a couple things I want to throw at you and get your thoughts. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I hope my bladder will hold.
Okay. Have you seen the Assassin's Creed clip that they released online? It's an actual scene from the movie.
Was it what they showed at the Game Awards?
Yes, it was the scene where he's chasing after that thing.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
That was fine. I'm not excited for this movie.
Me neither.
I'm just not.
that's the thing. It looks.
Besides the thing where he was jumping off the building, like that behind the scenes thing. Besides that, I haven't been impressed with anything they're showing.
Right. That's the thing. I really, really want this to be good for two reasons. One, I'd really like to see an awesome video game movie. Yeah. Two, I'm more concerned for Michael Fassbender. He's an amazing actor. His career won't suffer, but I'd hate that to taint him in any way. Just be like, oh, you're in that shitty Assassin's Creed movie. Now, it does look cool. A lot of it looks cool, but there's nothing that I've seen that have been like, wow, that looks great yet. Yeah. But amazing cast. I expect the performances to be great. Hopefully, I mean the director. I heard that Michael Fassbender asked the director who directed the most recent Hamlet remake. Apparently, is phenomenal. I haven't seen it. I've just heard it's great. So Michael Fassbender specifically requested this director to work with him again. So I don't know if Ubisoft or whoever wrote this movie are like the corporate overlords of this movie and they feel very constricted and can't do much. I don't know. Like Michael Fassbender, I feel like you could give him the worst dialogue in the world and he'll find a way to make it work because he's just that talented. Yeah. So I think regardless, the performances will be on point, but I just hope the movie is good.
Hope it's written well.
Exactly. I hope it's just not just a total goof fest. Yeah.
One thing I don't know what to think.
I will say I can appreciate it. Now, they're in the Spanish Inquisition, so forgive me, I know there's countless different, there's Portuguese, there's Spanish, there's all kinds of similar languages that are similar to Spanish. I don't know what language they were speaking, but what I can appreciate is that Aguilar, which is Michael Fassbender's ancestor in the movie, and the other guy he was talking to were all speaking in a foreign language when they were when he's in the Animus. His ancestor is speaking that native language, which I think is awesome because it always annoys me when I see any foreign culture or nationality in any movie and they all speak English. That just kind of takes me out of it. That's why I loved what was Mel Gibson's movie that I think it was the Mayans. I can't remember the title of it, but they all spoke the native language there. And then Letters from Iwo Jima.
I can't think of the movie.
Letters from Iwo Jima.
I know what it is though.
Dirty Harry. Oh, what's his name? Clint Eastwood. I'm losing my mind. We've been talking for so long. Clint Eastwood's movie, Letters to Iwo Jima, all the Japanese soldiers spoke Japanese the entire movie. I would much rather read subtitles any day when it's supposed to be a foreigner than listen to English. That's just me personally. So I really appreciate that fact. I think that's really cool. I appreciated that more than the action in the scene, honestly. So that's pretty cool. But like we said, we're hoping for the best from Assassin's Creed, but we don't know what to expect. It might get massacred because it comes out the week after Star Wars. So I feel like people are still going to be seeing Star Wars. I mean, as gamers will go see Assassin's Creed purely to support it and hope that it's good. But I think it's just going to get, just from a critical and average moviegoer standpoint, it's probably going to get wiped out by Star Wars. It probably would have been better off releasing it in like kind of like Deadpool came out in like March or February, I think. That's probably been a way better window. Maybe. They may be sending it out to die. We don't know. Aquaman's coming October 5th, 2018.
Really?
Yes.
Didn't
with
know
Jason
that.
Momoa. I'm going to say, I don't know how they're going to pull this off.
I don't think that's going to be made.
Well, I mean, they're already shooting it.
They're already shooting
it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know how they're going to pull this off. I know it's James Wan is directing it. He directed The Conjuring and Insidious. And I don't know how they're going to... It's going to be like The Little Mermaid brought to life. Because water, I've heard, is some of the most difficult... Casey, you can probably vouch for this. Water is some of the most difficult visual effects to create, correct? So, and water is the most expensive too because it's just so difficult and time consuming. So if it's going to be majority of it underwater, I mean, maybe it'll be like they're inside a water palace, but there's not water in the actual palace. It's just like a palace underwater. They can get away with that. But as long as the action isn't as goofy as it was in Batman v Superman, where he's like in the submarine and you just see him floating there for like 2 minutes, seconds. It feels like, and he flies off. If it's better than that, that's cool. But
I've just never been excited for that from the get-go.
No, Jason Momoa has grown on me a lot since he played Khal Drogo in Game of Thrones, so hopefully he's a cool Aquaman. I think his name's Arthur something. I'm not a big Aquaman fan.
What else has he done? I don't know what he's done.
He was in a very crappy remake of Conan the Barbarian. It sucked. He's been in a lot of stuff. He's been in stuff like from years ago. They just play small roles, but his breakout role was Khal Drogo in Game of Thrones.
And he doesn't do that anymore?
No. So, but yeah, that's pretty cool. It got a release date. Guardians of the Galaxy's latest trailer with Baby Groot. What'd you think, Jacob?
It's awesome. Mm-hmm. I'm so excited for the movie. Baby Groot definitely steals the trailer. And also that part at the end where they're reading his mind and saying he like has
an attraction to
to
Gamora. That was
and like what's his name
Drax.
that plays Drax? Who plays him again?
Dave Bautista.
Yeah, and him just cracking up at the end is so hilarious.
That was hilarious. Yeah, I want to watch the trailer again. I've only seen it once, but yeah, I was laughing throughout the entire thing, which is great.
I think it's gonna be good.
And people have been saying too that the majority of that footage, all the action stuff, is apparently in the first act because James Gunn doesn't want to spoil anything. Apparently, there's a really powerful story behind it, despite all the comedy, which is cool. But yeah, I was laughing at the whole thing. All, like you said, all the Baby Groot stuff is hilarious.
Yeah. I want to watch it right now. It's just a good trailer.
Yeah, brilliant too to totally change up Groot, but it's almost like he's an immature version of himself, like a little kid, and. Speaking of him stealing the trailer, essentially, he's going to steal all the merch sales too. I mean, if they have little baby Groot plushies, those things are going to sell like hotcakes.
Yeah. What's the raccoon's name again?
Rocket.
Yeah, he's not the little guy anymore. Now he's got to take care of the little guy.
I saw the funniest thing. Someone made a comparison to this. You know, in Guardians 1, when they're escaping the prison, Groot's spinning around and Rocket's on his shoulder shooting a gun. Well, there's a shot in the trailer where Rocket's spinning around and Groot's on his shoulder shooting something. So it's like the opposite. It's pretty cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm super excited about it. I love all those characters, and I think they did an amazing job with the first one, and the second one looks great. So
they're really like they knocked it out of the park with the first one. So
yes,
I only expect them to do the same with this one.
And based on the trailers we've seen, I think we're gonna get another great soundtrack with Volume 2.
Oh yeah,
I think that's a brilliant title for Guardians as well as Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, as if it's like a mixtape Volume 2. It just totally fits.
Wasn't the first trailer? No, that was the game when in space where the what was it, the cassette player was like going through space, and like I thought it was cool how like the audio like cut in and out when the headphone was or the earbud was near the screen,
right?
The speaker. But that was for the game, so
yeah. Awesome trailer, super pumped. It comes out in May, I think May 6th, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm excited.
Really exciting. So what'd you think of the Mummy trailer with Tom Cruise and that ridiculous scream he has in the airplane?
That scream was interesting.
Never heard Tom Cruise, like you said, never heard Tom Cruise scream like that.
I mean, it looks fine. I've never been a huge fan of the Mummy with what's his face, the old guy,
Brendan Fraser.
Yeah,
I love the original.
I didn't
Mummy.
like those movies that much.
I love the first one. You like it too, Casey? Yeah, I think. Have we watched those together yet? I don't know. I've seen him with Zach countless times. We'd go on Mummy marathons.
I like the first one.
I think Brendan Fraser's character in the Mummy movies is classic Hollywood. Like I think
so?
I love when Brendan Fraser acts like that character. I always forget the character's name, but I think I made a joke about this or may have mentioned it casually. But if he was still that age, I wish he could play Nathan Drake in Uncharted.
Yeah,
I think Brendan Fraser.
Hair.
Yeah, I think just Brendan Fraser is awesome. I'm sad that he's not in many movies nowadays. And of course, everyone in the comments like, bring back Brendan Fraser. This is an entirely different Mummy. I'm going to give people context who don't know this. Some of you may already know this, but Universal Pictures is setting up their own cinematic universe, kind of how Marvel has their cinematic universe, DC has theirs, Fox has theirs. Granted, all those are superheroes, but Universal can see the success of all these franchises that have been ongoing for years now, especially Marvel being the biggest example. But they want in on that cash cow because those movies, people love all the interconnectivity of all these movies and all these characters, so they want to pull that off. And what more of an interesting way to do that than to take all the classic Universal monsters and make them a cinematic universe. So they're going to have The Mummy with Tom Cruise. They're going to have Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde with Russell Crowe. That's who he is in the trailers, Dr. Jekyll. They're going to have Frankenstein's monster. They're going to have the Wolfman and Dracula. And they're all going to be their own standalone movies with these heroes in each movie. And they're all going to have team-ups, but it's Universal monsters. So it's like a horror cinematic universe, which an action horror probably. But they're all going to have team-ups. Now, I think that's really cool and interesting, and it's probably a good idea on their part to attempt this because they've seen the success of Marvel. And, I mean, DC is struggling critically, but financially they're killing it, and I'm sure that trend will continue. But obviously they want to pull something like that off, and I think it's very cool to do that with horror characters.
I wonder how it's going to play out.
I know. This is what my hope is. I hope that The Mummy... Now, it looks a little darker. Hopefully it'll have some comedy spruced in there. I don't know. I mean, Tom Cruise isn't much of a comedic actor. He's more of an action star. But if, let's say The Mummy is like the action-adventure one. It'd be cool if Frankenstein's monster is more of a horrific one, or maybe Dracula or the Wolfman. I hope they're all different styles. Like, Marvel has a formula, but to an extent, they're all kind of different. Like, Ant-Man's more comedic, where... Thor is a little more serious. I mean, I've heard Ragnarok's supposed to be much more jokey. We'll see. But they all kind of have their own spice. And I'm hoping all of these Universal movies have their own spice to them. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Especially since they're horror characters. I hope one of them's more traditionally like a horror movie, but they exist in the same universe. It'd be cool.
Yeah.
But I just think that's a really interesting idea. I hope it pays off for them because I've seen all of these classic monster movies. I know they've been remade countless times, but I've seen all the originals like Dracula and the Wolfman.
So what's the idea behind Wolfman? I've never known what that is.
Well, the original is I can't remember the specifics. It's just literally a dude that becomes a werewolf and kills people and stuff.
He just becomes a werewolf.
Well, he gets bitten.
What happened?
He gets bitten by a werewolf.
Okay, so it's like a classic werewolf tale.
Yeah. Now I don't know what they'll do with the new one because remember, the Wolfman came out with what's his name from Sicario? I always forget his name. He's in Guardians. He's going to be in Episode 8 of Star Wars.
Which guy in Guardians?
He plays the Collector.
Ooh.
The Hispanic guy. I always want to call him. It's not Guillermo del Toro. It's
You sure?
It's a similar name to that. Forgive me. I usually know his name, but I'm having a brain fart. But he is he was the Wolfman in the Wolfman remake. I also had what's the guy's name who's in Westworld now?
It's a good thing we're not a movie podcast.
He was the original Hannibal Lecter. What's his name? I can't remember. It's going to drive me insane.
You have a phone. Look it up.
I don't want to ruin your timer. I guess we're done with the timer almost.
I can go back to it.
Who's the actor who played Hannibal Lecter? I feel like an idiot after this.
I couldn't find any movies matching Hannibal Lecter.
Okay.
Why not?
Who's the lead actors in Silence of the Lambs? Anthony Hopkins.
Silence of the Lambs stars Jodie Foster. Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins.
Hopkins.
I couldn't think of the name. But he was also in the Wolfman remake, and it was not accepted, or it was not loved critically. A lot of people tore it apart. I thought it was cool because I like the Wolfman. I just like the action, and I've always been intrigued by werewolves. My favorite werewolf movie being American Werewolf in London. You ever seen that one?
No.
For its time, dude, the effects in that movie, like the practical effects, are pretty disturbing. If you want to see the most disturbing werewolf transformation, watch the scene from American Werewolf in London. It's pretty effed up for how old it
I'll
is.
keep that in mind.
They're remaking that movie too. It has I don't think it has anything to do with this Universal cinematic universe.
Are you telling me that you're Team Jacob?
Team Jacob?
Yeah.
No, those werewolves suck in Twilight. I hate to be the generic guy that's like, Twilight sucks, but those werewolves are so dumb to me because they become actual wolves. I like a werewolf to be a horrific transformation that just no one wants to be this werewolf because the werewolves in Twilight were very graceful and they're like proud to be these wolves. Yeah. But a werewolf it's like a curse that someone bears, and it freaking sucks because you become this uncontrollable rage monster and just kill everyone uncontrollably. So I want to see like that conflicted Wolfman in the cinematic universe. I want to see Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Mean. Like Dr. Jekyll's like the calm, sophisticated one, but then he becomes Mr. Hyde and becomes crazy. I'd like to see how that character plays into all this. I don't know. I just think it's very ambitious and cool, but I thought the Mummy trailer looks... What did you say? Yes, exactly. Yeah, if you guys haven't ever seen Penny Dreadful, it's a pretty solid TV show, except for the dire ending. I won't spoil it for you, but the show was canceled and it really sucks. But great show leading up to the end if you like all those old school monsters and characters.
Password.
Password. What's the password in Sorcerer's Stone? Isn't it like cream puffs or something?
Is it Trificus Crotalis or something?
I can't remember. There it is, Jacob. Next one, I just wanted to ask you, what did you think of the Mummy trailer despite the plain parts?
That was fine. I mean,
it looks pretty cool.
action-packed.
I think the Mummy looks cool. I think it's the same actress who was in Kingsman and Star Trek Beyond. That girl is playing the Mummy.
Who?
I can't remember her name,
Oh.
but I can't. Well, she's a newer actress. She's she's just now breaking out into becoming famous, but I think it's cool. Female Mummy. Yeah, it looks like she's going to kick a lot of ass. So hopefully Tom Cruise brought his A game to this action movie.
Yeah, I hope so.
So he sounded like a little girl falling out of the plane. Like, get your act together, Tom Cruise. It's not the Tom Cruise I know. We'll see. But I think it looks pretty cool. Alpha 5 and Rita Repulsa had images revealed. Alpha 5's was concept art. Rita Repulsa's were actual
I saw the
shots.
Alpha image.
What do you think about Alpha 5's look?
Looks fine.
Yeah, I think it's fine too.
I don't really care how Alpha looks, to be honest.
Me neither. Yeah, I don't care. I think he looks a lot more alien with those big bulging eyes coming out. I think with what we've seen from the movie, it fits the style they're going for. Right. So not a big deal to me.
I didn't see the Rita picture.
Yeah, they were just full body pictures of her full costume. And,
she looked good?
Yeah, she looks cool, so that's fine. Definitely a different look. I love the theory going around that she may have been the original Green Ranger and she became evil. You know, like in the trailer, she says, "I've killed Rangers before." I'd like her backstory to be she was the Green Ranger and became Rita and like slaughtered the other Rangers or something. And then she got locked up for 10,000 years. After 10,000 years, I'm free. I hope she says that in the movie. I guarantee you she will.
Maybe.
Something like that, at least. Yeah. So, but that's pretty cool. Community questions, Jacob, our favorite segment of the podcast, our final segment at long last. Thank you all for making it this far into the episode. We greatly appreciate all of you who sent us questions that we had the pleasure of implementing into our PSX and Game Awards topics, but the rest are random ones that are fun. Jacob, you with me on this?
Yes.
Here we go. The first one comes from Nick on Twitter using the hashtag AskIOG. He says...
Did you say neck?
Nick.
Oh.
I might have said neck. Nick. He asks, are you planning on picking up Star Wars Battlefront? It'd be cool if we could play. I think I might for the Rogue One DLC. Just because I'm really excited about Rogue One. It actually comes out this week, if I'm not mistaken, the DLC.
Interesting. Along with the VR thing. Because the VR is coming out this Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they
tomorrow
come out on the same
when this
day.
goes live.
Yeah.
I will not be. I played that game a lot when it first came out on Xbox, and I'm kind of done with it. Yep. It's a great game. It's a little too casual for me.
Mm-hmm. I think it was too casual for a lot of people.
Yeah. If I'm going to play a shooter right now, it'll probably be like Battlefield or Overwatch or something.
Speaking of which, side note about Battlefield, DICE and EA did say they're taking a extended break from Battlefield for obvious reasons. They're going to go hard on the next Battlefront. They said we probably won't see another Battlefield until probably 2019 or later. Which is fine with me because I think Battlefield 1 is incredible and I want them to put that much heart and effort into the next Battlefield. Don't rush any Battlefield.
They'll give us a World War II game next time.
Definitely. And that being said, Battlefield 1 is put my expectations up here with DICE and EA. I want to see them either meet that or top that with the next Battlefront. Yeah. And they've stated they're making it way bigger and they're going to implement new movie characters, new movie content. And they said they're going to the best of their ability, meet all the fans' demands. And they said they're going to make it deeper as well because that was a huge complaint with the first one.
What if the next Battlefront's like the whole series?
It'd be really ambitious. I'd love to see it. I mean,
even the crappy prequels.
The only benefit of having such a basic first game is that that's their foundation to build off of. They can only go up from there.
Yeah.
So that's their firm foundation. So that's pretty cool. But Nick, I'm not going to say I am going to buy it. I have considered it. I'm just pretty broke right now because I'm already having to pay for my next quarter of school, so I'm back to being broke again. I'm like living paycheck to paycheck.
And we're playing a lot of newer games right now.
We are.
Everything just came out, so
yeah. I won't promise it, but you may or may not see me on the beaches of Scarif and Rogue One DLC in Battlefront.
I'm interested to see gameplay.
Me too. I'll definitely watch someone play it, and we'll see it on screen as well on December 15th at 10:30 p.m. You, me, and Casey going to see Star Wars Rogue One. I'm pumped.
It's not just us.
I'll have stitches in my face, probably bleeding, but I'm going to watch it anyway.
I thought me and you were going on a date.
Oh, my squirrel's coming with us. I'll keep her on a leash.
Yeah, we can put her down in the front row.
That works.
Well, the big boys have their time.
Certainly. We have great seats, by the way. We're like right in the middle of the theater, which is where I like to sit.
Okay.
So it's good. The next one comes from San Harris on Twitter using the hashtag AskIOG. It says, which genre in gaming is peaking in popularity and has a healthy future? Which genre is dying or dead already? Which one's peaking and is healthy right now?
I guess shooters, first-person shooters, RPGs.
Yeah, I was going to say RPGs and shooters.
I think open world games are they've already peaked, and I think they're on the downward trend.
I think you're right, Jacob.
Because I know with me especially lately, especially if there's a ton of open world games coming out, I'm a type of person that likes to do everything in games, and when games are as massive as they are in open worlds, like there's like in Witcher, as much as I love it, there's way too much to do in Witcher.
Now, I don't think that's a bad thing, but if you want to platinum the game, there's too much to do.
And if it's coming out when other games are coming out, it's just tough to put that much time towards one game.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, back in the day, we may have gotten an open world game once, maybe twice a year max, maybe even only once.
Big.
Exactly, and they were like half the size practically. But I think the fact that we're getting so many open world games, that's one of the main reasons I've yet to play Watch Dogs 2. I am going to play it because I've heard it's really fun, but that's the reason I haven't played it yet, is because I've played so many open world games. And Final Fantasy is an open world game, but that's so drastically different from other open world games I've played recently. But 5 years ago, I saw a trailer for Watch Dogs 2, and I hadn't played all these other open world games. I've been clamoring to play that game because it's an open world San Francisco. It's cool. But yeah, I think open world games are definitely on the downward trend. I wouldn't say they're dying, but they're definitely less popular.
I'd like
I
to
think.
see more linear narrative games.
Me too. And I like these little hub world ideas. Like in Dishonored, it's like it's not an open world, but it's a big area to explore per level.
Yeah.
And I think Mass Effect's kind of similar. Like these big planets. I don't think it's a giant open planet, but it's a pretty large area for you to explore on each planet, which I think is cool. I'm at the point now where I'd rather do that for now, and maybe of course I want to play open world games again at some point, but I like the more hub worldish type stuff for sure.
Yeah. I think maybe fighting games they've been trending downward as years have passed on, but there's always going to be that core group of gamers that love fighting games.
Totally.
But it's been a while since they've been, extremely popular like they used to be. So
Yeah. And shooters, man, they're just getting bigger and bigger, it seems, by the year. Not only communities enjoying like casual communities, but especially the hardcore scene as well, and the competitive scene is really what keeping these shooters going.
I think the big thing right now, and has been for the last couple of years, are games that come out and that are sustained, like League of Legends, Overwatch, Dota 2, just games like they keep putting, like people that you play one game, you love that game, more content keeps coming to it. You just unlock it or you pay more money for it. People just like that kind of model right now, I think.
Absolutely. And yeah, I think that's an awesome question. That could make a really great main topic too, but just briefly talking about it, peaking popularity, first-person shooters, RPGs, and even RPGs that aren't open-world RPGs. Like, I love The Witcher. I would go back into that world any day and explore it. I mean, that's an exception to the open-world thing for me. And Fallout as well, because I love exploring those worlds. I just love Bethesda's open worlds. But other than that, yeah, or even the RPGs that are just linear stories, but they have all those RPG elements I enjoy a lot.
There's just so much to do now that you almost feel like you have the weight of the world on your shoulders. Like, what do I do next? Like, should I be doing this next, or should I go do like 10 side quests next?
Exactly.
That's what I'm struggling with in Final Fantasy. Like, I want to get the most experience that I can, so I should do the side quests now so I get more experience for them. Because if I do them later, they're going to be under-leveled quests. So I'm like trying to pick and choose what I want to do. I'm trying to like do an equal balance of side quests and main missions.
I read an article stating to not worry about doing all the side quests, which it sounds like that's what you're doing.
I saw that article, but I don't know. It's just like whenever I play open world games, that's what I do.
Right.
I just do both at the same time, but I do way more side quests than I try to like clear the map as I go.
I get you.
That's how I like to play.
Yeah. I'm not too eager to nail all the side quests in Final Fantasy. I just kind of want to be able to say I've finished a Final Fantasy game. And I'm not just playing it to finish it, because like I said, I'm really enjoying it.
I am too, yeah.
But we'll see how it goes. But
like, here's an example. I'm driving down the road. I see that little bush icon on the map in Final Fantasy. I'll pull over, go up and get it, then get back in the car and go. That's how ridiculous it is for me.
Right. No, I get that completely. I've definitely had that same urge in multiple open world games.
You're never going to know when you need that crafting material.
Yeah. I will say that I think the perfect blend of what we're talking about is Deus Ex Mankind Divided, because there's these many hub worlds that you can explore that could be argued as an open world, but they're smaller hub worlds to explore. And all the side quests, there isn't an over encumbrance of, I don't even know if that's a word. It is an overwhelming amount of side quests. You can follow all of them easily, and it's very easy to complete all of them. You can miss some if you're not careful, but I think there's only a handful of side quests that serve the story well and serve that world. And I never felt overwhelmed or confused by anything, and that's why I think Preston enjoyed it so much as well. It's just a very solid, seamless experience from start to finish.
You know who I genuinely think did that actually really well with their hub world?
Yeah.
Thief.
The
new Thief. I enjoyed exploring that world so much.
Yeah.
Even though
we're not actually joking now. We're actually being serious about Thief.
Like, we joke about Thief. It's not that bad of a game.
Yeah.
But, like, I had fun, like, crawling into windows and stuff and finding random items and stuff.
Well, if you enjoy that game, you should play Dishonored too, man. It's fantastic.
I played the first Dishonored. I didn't finish it, but I played it. So.
I love Dishonored too. I know a lot of other fans from the podcast have said that as well. But you should, if you're ever bored and have nothing else to play, at least give it a try.
I need to finish the first one first. So.
That's true.
Which I still have.
Okay,
it's on my backlog.
That's good. I think you'd appreciate it if you did, especially going into 2.
Yeah.
Time will tell. Yeah. But Sam, thank you very much for your question. That was an awesome question. I really enjoyed that one. But we talk about what's dying, maybe fighting on a mainstream scale, and the open worlds probably. I want to hear your thoughts. That goes for everyone as well. You probably have way better suggestions than we do. That's just off the top of our head. But Sam, thank you very much for your question.
I don't know if there's anything else really rising. Can you think of anything? Everything's just kind of where it's
I
at
think
right
the
now.
indie scene is rising a lot.
Think so?
Yeah, it's coming more into the mainstream. I wouldn't say mainstream, but there's a much broader awareness of indie game development than there used
Well, that's
to be.
because of like studios or like Sony and they have like PSX, which is primarily for those kind of games. So
Yeah. So I think that's really cool though. The indie games are on the rise. So sometimes
and we're getting older. We're becoming more aware of games like that too. That certainly has something to do with it.
certainly. So the next one comes from Ultima on Twitter as well. He says, "How do some of the extra features like the web browser, etc., work on the?" Or it says, "Like, how do some of the extra features like the web browser, etc., work on the Pro? Any improvement in those areas?" I don't know. I don't think so. As far as the extra features,
I've never
go.
used my web browser on my PS4.
I only have once. In order to get a image on your community section in PSN, you literally have to go on the web browser and like screenshot something, and that was a hellish process to pull off for our PSN community, but I managed to make it work. But that's the only time I've used the web browser. I know Preston's used the web browser more than me on PSN, but I don't use it that often, but I didn't notice a huge difference.
Why do that when you have a phone or a laptop?
Right, yeah,
or
if my
something
phone's
next to
sitting
you?
right there, I'll just use my phone. But I will say that I know this doesn't have to do with the extra features of the web browser, but the reason I brought the Pro is because of I keep saying this, the options it provides. Like Final Fantasy has that update where I can choose the frame rate or the graphical fidelity or the resolution, I could say. If all the games going forward, especially on PlayStation, especially the exclusives, if they have those options, it totally warrants my purchase completely. So that's why I bought it. But as far as the web browser and stuff goes, I haven't noticed a huge difference, but I don't know. Someone who uses it a lot may have noticed one.
Until games aren't running as well, I'm probably not going to get it.
I get
if
that
time
completely.
ever comes.
I get that. The next one comes from Jennifer Brown using our Gmail email.
What?
Hi, Jacob. I'm so tired. Using our email address, ItsObviousGaming@gmail.com. It says, "What's your favorite genre of game?"
That's tough.
Let's make this even tougher. We're not going to say multiple. We're going to say one.
Ugh.
And it doesn't have to be of all time. It can be just currently. What do you feel like you want to play most right now?
I want to play 2 games right now.
If you had to pick one.
Right now? Action RPG. Final Fantasy. That's what I want to play.
Same with me.
Just
I'm going to say RPG. We're going to... Now, she isn't too specific. She says your favorite genre game. She doesn't say of all time. In this moment, action RPG for both of us, I would say.
Yeah. So
thank you for your question, Jennifer. Next one comes from Gifty on Twitter. I'm going to call this question of the show. And this goes to everyone.
Question of the show.
Yes, we don't have to do this every week, but I think this is suitable because it kind of fits everything we discuss this week. It's the culmination of everything we discuss. So in addition to anything you guys comment about down below, if you feel up to it, answer this question as well. This is a fun one. So this comes from Gifty on Twitter. Thank you, my friend. It says, "What 3 games are you most excited for, and what 3 games do you wish to see at E3 next year, even if it's unannounced?" So let's say, what 3 games are you most excited for from everything announced between the Game Awards, PSX, and even stuff we may not have heard of yet?
Just anything that's announced.
Yes, if you need to look at some of this stuff, you can. I'll name some of
Well,
mine.
I have one that's not even on those lists.
Okay, let's
that's
hear it.
probably way far out.
Let's hear it.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh, of course.
Horizon, Zero Dawn, and Mass Effect, I guess. Maybe Destiny 2, if I had to pick a 4th.
So top 3 for me will be Breath of the Wild, Mass Effect. There's so many games to choose from. I'm going to see Legend of Zelda, Mass Effect, and Spider-Man.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to say.
Cool.
Top 3 is hard.
It is.
But yeah, I
Mine weren't in any particular order. I was just saying 3
So-
or 4 that I'm excited for.
Yeah, that works. That was a fun one. Well, everyone, thank you so much for making it to the end of the It's Obvious podcast. This was episode 79. We greatly appreciate your time, and we hope to hear from all of you. So if you're on Spotify or iTunes or any other podcast service and have yet to join us on youtube.com/ItsObviousGaming, we encourage you to do so. Please subscribe, like this video if you enjoy it, and comment down below if you haven't already said hello to us on Twitter or email or whatever. Say hello down below. We love meeting everyone who's tuning in. We'd love to hear your thoughts on anything you have to say about Game Awards, PSX, your top 3 games you're most anticipating, any of that fun stuff, and anything else you just want to throw at us. We answer all the comments. We love hearing from you guys. It's our favorite part. It's why we do this. It's why we started in the beginning, because we love talking about games. We love playing them, but connecting with everyone else around the world who shares those interests with us is our favorite part. So thank you so much for joining us. But
Yes,
Jacob,
sir.
closing thoughts from you?
No, my bladder's full like it is after every podcast.
Great.
I'm excited to go empty it. I hope I
Can I
feel
watch?
better. Yes.
Okay.
You help like every week.
I do.
You always help.
I always shake it off
appreciate
for
that.
you.
Yes. Sometimes we cross swords too.
Absolutely.
To
Sword
keep it
fighting is
interesting.
always, it's my favorite pastime
Yes.
when it comes to peeing.
But I have no closing thoughts. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely.
it's always a pleasure to do our podcast every week.
It is. I love it, Jacob. I was thinking about when we were talking earlier, just the thought went through my mind. I just love doing this.
Yep.
I miss Preston to death. He'll be here next
It's
week.
been a long time.
He was supposed to
since he's
send
been
me a
here.
write-up on his thoughts and everything, but he never got back to me.
He's been here once in like the past 2 months, maybe. It's
I
been
know.
rough.
I think he'll be back next week through the end of the year
That's good.
when he's back, which is cool. So hopefully he doesn't travel as much beginning of next year because we miss him to death.
Right. And thank you to all our viewers for, of course, watching us.
Absolutely.
We've grown quite a bit this year, and it's all
We have.
thanks to you guys.
We have. And I know to some people it might be laughable because we're not even at 1,000
Right.
subscribers.
We
But for
started
us,
from nothing.
yeah, from us, it's significant. So it's been an absolute honor and privilege doing this week in and week out and hearing from you guys. So thank you so much for your continued support.
Slow but steady grind
Amen, my friend. Until the end.
until the end.
But all of you, God bless you all. Hope you have a wonderful week wherever you might be, whatever you might be doing. Just know that we appreciate you and thank you for tuning in. My name's Garrett Drake. This was Jacob Alka. This is the It's Obvious podcast. I almost stuttered there. I did stutter. We'll catch you guys next week. Goodbye.
See ya.